Chapter 2886. Night Sorrow did not pay attention to Ji Yun after entering the disorderly burial peak. However, from Ji Yun's remnant soul, he knew that Ji Yun's fate was extremely miserable. Night Sorrow did not have the energy to think about it, because after entering the disorderly burial peak's forbidden area, he felt a dense oppressive aura. Even the air became austere. Even though Night Sorrow had been fighting for so long, he still felt his scalp go numb. Standing at the edge of the forbidden area, Night Sorrow saw an endless mountain range and a large number of spatial cracks. The aura of the spatial cracks gave people a terrifying feeling. It did not seem to be the dominator rank, but the power of the sovereign realm. At the entrance of the disorderly burial peak, there was a large number of corpses. A portion of them were from the 4 major races that Night Sorrow was familiar with. The other portion was something he had never seen before, but he had heard Morong Jinlu describe them. These corpses should be the corpses of the leaders of the 4 major races outside. When they attacked, they alarmed the creatures in the forbidden area, causing a great battle. After analyzing Night Sorrow, he immediately understood what had happened. This made him very happy. 34 creatures in the nearby forbidden area had died. Every one of them was a dominator rank. If not for the leaders of the 4 major races leading their people to attack, Night Sorrow would not be a match for them alone. According to Morong Jinlu, although the forbidden area is very dangerous, it should not be to the extent of encountering dozens of dire beasts right after entering. Night Sorrow did not leave immediately. Instead, he kept the slightly complete dire beast corpses, and those that could be used as materials into his spatial artifact. These materials might not mean much to a desolate beast, but any cultivator in the firmament would be able to make use of them. It was a huge haul. After collecting all the useful materials, Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe the surrounding terrain. As for the power of his consciousness, he did not release it casually. This was because he was not sure what kind of dire beasts were in the forbidden area. He was afraid that if he carelessly released his spiritual energy, it would cause unnecessary trouble. Because there were 4 leaders of the 4 major territories, Night Sorrow had been following their tracks all the way to the depths of the forbidden area, which was the mountain range. When Night Sorrow truly stepped into chaotic burial peak, he could not help but feel his hair stand on end. He felt extremely flustered. That feeling was like a newborn deer being stared at by a colorful tiger. If the other party attacked, Xiaolu would not be able to resist at all. Night Sorrow's heart skipped a beat as he said, "How is this possible? Is there someone surpassing the 9 heavens supreme realm in the forbidden area? I've never heard the hegemons mention that the eternal autark realm has an existence that surpasses the autark level." Yishang's heart was extremely desolate. Even his hands were trembling. This was a fear he had never felt since he started cultivating. It even made him want to leave. However, just as Night Sorrow was about to leave, this heart-palpitating feeling suddenly disappeared. The feeling of being stared at completely disappeared. What remained was the original oppressive aura of the forbidden area. Yishang took a deep breath and thought to himself, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Since that terrifying aura wasn't targeting him, then he might as well go deeper. Ow! Just as Night Sorrow was pondering, a huge golden devil kuei suddenly charged towards Night Sorrow from the forest. This golden devil kuei was about 300 feet tall. Its entire body seemed to be made out of gold, and was filled with power. Oh, isn't this the golden desolate beast mentioned by Guiding Lu? It's so easy to encounter? Discovering that the attacking desolate beast was a golden devil kuei, Night Sorrow, who was originally somewhat absent-minded, immediately became excited. According to Morong Guiding Lu, golden desolate beasts were extremely difficult to encounter. After killing them, not only could one obtain a large amount of hegemon rank materials, one could also obtain a trace of luck from the eternal autark realm. It could be said that killing golden desolate beasts would bring great benefits. However, golden desolate beasts were much stronger than ordinary desolate beasts. When Night Sorrow was condensing his deity domain, he could not help but raise his guard. As for the golden devil kuei in front of him, its realm was lower level hegemon rank. Relatively speaking, it was not too high. According to Morong Guiding Lu, upper-level hegemon rank golden desolate beasts were basically difficult for hegemon rank cultivators to deal with. Although Night Sorrow's battle strength was astonishing, in a one-on-one fight he was definitely not its opponent. Boom. The Golden Devil Kuei ferociously attacked. Night Sorrow immediately strengthened his aura, and suddenly sent out a palm. After the two of them collided, Night Sorrow discovered that the Golden Devil Kuei that was charging over only stopped its body, and did not retreat half a step. Very strong indeed. Although this palm did not contain any attribute, Night Sorrow had already used his full strength, and did not hold back in terms of strength. Ow! I'll kill you! The Golden Devil Kuei was at hegemon rank. Its intelligence was very high and it could already speak human language. With a roar, it completely released its deity domain. Its golden body immediately emitted boundless golden light, illuminating the surrounding sky. According to the ancient records, this was a sign that the golden desolate beast was preparing to go all out. It's better for me to kill you. Facing it, Night Sorrow immediately became more focused, and prepared to think of a way to quickly kill it. Because in the forbidden area, there must be other desolate beasts. Not to mention the distant ones. If the four great clans appeared together, Night Sorrow would not be able to deal with them. He was afraid that the fierce battle with the Golden Devil Kuei would cause too much of a commotion, and attract other dangerous factors. After saying that, Night Sorrow directly activated the 33 Heavens battle secret technique to increase his strength. Then, without hesitation, he used the Divine Origin Trap Array and Reincarnation Spear art. He turned himself and his deity domain into a huge divine halberd, and smashed it towards the Golden Devil Kuei. Boom! The Golden Devil Kuei, who was bound by the Divine Origin Trap Array, was originally very heavy. It could not dodge this attack, and was ruthlessly bombarded on its body. However, the Golden Devil Kuei's body seemed to be made of indestructible iron essence. After being bombarded by Night Sorrow, it did not suffer any obvious injuries. It's really strong. No wonder it's known as one of the best materials in the Eternal Supreme World. When the Golden Devil Kuei's attack did not succeed, Night Sorrow hurriedly used the Dragon Traveling Step to dodge the attack. The Golden Devil Kuei's body was too strong. There was no benefit for him to take it head-on. Then, using the flexibility of his body, he began to tangle with the Golden Devil Kuei. However, although his attacks continuously hit the Golden Desolate Beast's body, it was difficult to have a fatal effect. Moreover, using the power of the Divine Soul to attack was not of much use. This time, Night Sorrow was stumped. For a moment he did not know how to deal with the Golden Devil Kuei in front of him. Cultivator, your attack to me is just a tickle. Die. Chapter 2887. At the same time, the Golden Devil leader's eyes shot out two golden lights, directly piercing Night Sorrow's eyes. Not good. This kind of light can paralyze the mind. Being illuminated by this light, Night Sorrow suddenly found that he was temporarily paralyzed. Oh, go to hell. After paralyzing Night Sorrow, the Golden Devil leader immediately waved its giant palm, and slapped towards Night Sorrow. With a clang, Night Sorrow was ruthlessly slapped into the ground, creating a huge pit on the hillside. Cough cough. After suffering the solid palm of the Golden Devil leader, Night Sorrow felt as if his whole body was about to fall apart. This was an experience he had not encountered for a long time, so he immediately used a secret method to recover. You are not dead. You are not the same as other cultivators. At the Divine King realm, he already had such strength and toughness of his body. If you become a servant of this king will spare your life. The Golden Devil leader was a little surprised that he did not kill Night Sorrow with one palm. Then he opened his mouth and asked Night Sorrow to become his servant. Servant? Why don't you be my material? With Night Sorrow's character, how could he become a servant of a wild beast? He roared and condensed the power of virtue around his body. Once again, the Golden Devil leader used the Reincarnation Spear technique. This attack was different from the previous one. There was no Divine Essence trapping array, but the Golden Devil leader still could not dodge it. However, when Night Sorrow attacked, the Golden Devil leader slapped out a powerful palm. In its opinion, although Night Sorrow's strength was good, compared to itself, he was still a little weaker. However, the result shocked the Golden Demonic Chieftain. Although Night Sorrow's strength was not much different from before, The power of virtue was extremely terrifying and sent it flying. Again. After sending the Golden Devil leader flying, Night Sorrow once again blasted out a palm in a moment. This palm strike was different from the previous one. He had infused the reincarnation attribute into it to complement the power of merit. With a loud rumble, the Golden Devil Kuei, which had been flying through the air, was struck once more and smashed into the ground. The energy of virtue and the energy of samsara wasn't something that he could resist by relying on the strength of his body. So the power of merit has such an effect on desolate beasts. When fighting the desolate beasts outside, Night Sorrow did not expend much effort. He did not even use the power of merit. After killing it, the amount of great virtue he obtained was not much. As a result, Night Sorrow had neglected the power of virtue. After trying it out, he discovered that the power of virtue was still an important trump card of his. Killing the Golden Demonic Chief and extracting its essence should be enough to create a good Dominator-ranked divine artifact. I'm really not used to fighting empty-handed. At this point in the battle, Night Sorrow had already determined that the Golden Demonic leader basically had no chance to resist. He continuously suppressed it and killed it with his storm-like attacks. Before it was killed, the Golden Demonic leader kept begging for mercy. It wanted to be Night Sorrow's servant, and said that it could introduce the situation of disorderly burial peak to him. Night Sorrow was very interested in this, but he did not accept it. With a Golden Demonic leader on him, he would definitely be targeted by others. It was definitely not worth the loss. As for the matters in the Forbidden Zone, he could ask other desolate beasts. After the Golden Demonic leader was killed, its body underwent a transformation. It turned into a pile of golden iron essence that overflowed with essence. Even its bones had fused into a huge piece of material. Looking at the material that the Golden Demonic leader had turned into, Night Sorrow nodded with satisfaction. He kept it and prepared to find a place to set up an array to begin refining and refining. Call out the material that the Golden Demonic beast has turned into. Otherwise, you will be refined into an artifact yourself. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly rang out. When this voice sounded, Night Sorrow immediately felt as if his whole body was being pricked by needles. Who are you? Although Night Sorrow felt uncomfortable, it was different from when he had just entered the Forbidden Zone. He knew that the opponent in front of him was not an existence that he could not fight against at all. After collecting the Golden Demonic leader's material, he turned around and looked at the opponent with the sea serpent eye. He realized that it was a three-eyed cultivator. I am from the Celestial Eye territory. You are a cultivator from the realm of gods, right? Hand over the material that you have just collected, and I can spare your life. The three-eyed cultivator from the Celestial Eye territory looked coldly at Night Sorrow, as if he was looking at a dead man. Another child of fortune? You also entered disorderly burial peak from the realm of gods? Night Sorrow said coldly as he looked at the three-eyed cultivator from the Celestial Eye territory. Although the realm of gods was currently very weak, the continuous appearance of cultivators from other territories had made him very unhappy. Your realm of gods has no luck. It is your honor that I am here to take the treasure. You are lucky. I am Tong Qing, and I am ranked in the top 2,000 of the Sovereign Board. Tong Qing had obviously seen the battle between Night Sorrow and the Golden Demonic leader. She did not find his cultivation level as a divine king to be laughable. However, she was still extremely arrogant. It was obvious that she felt that her strength was superior. I understand now. Your eyes are very special. You are able to observe my battle from a distance that I cannot detect. Night Sorrow sized up Tong Qing and quickly guessed what was going on. Usually, if a cultivator was observing his battle from a close distance, he would definitely be able to detect it. This Tong Qing obviously had a good eye technique. She had seen the battle between the Golden Demonic leader from a long distance away and rushed over. However, she was a little late and just in time for Night Sorrow to collect the material that the Golden Demonic leader had turned into. So what if you understand? With your strength, you are no match for me. Hand over the material that the Golden Demonic leader has turned into or I will kill you immediately. Tong Qing's words were filled with contempt and coldness. You barged into the hunting area of the realm of gods for no reason, and even dared to threaten the cultivators of the realm of gods. In your eyes, do you think that the realm of gods is easy to bully? Night Sorrow had seen people kill others and steal their treasures. He did not think much of it. What he was angry about was that Tong Qing was looking down on the realm of gods. The realm of gods is easy to bully. You are all a bunch of trash. You have some potential. However, if you dare to question me, what awaits you is endless torture. Tong Qing shouted arrogantly. She used her third eye to size up Night Sorrow as if she wanted to see through him. However, with the protection of the power of merit, she could not see through Tong Qing. If the realm of gods is filled with trash, then you are even worse than trash. Today, I, Night Sorrow, will let you and the others who trespass into the realm of gods know that you have to pay the price for coming here. Tong Qing's attitude was very arrogant. Night Sorrow was completely enraged. Chapter 2888. Ha ha ha. What a joke. You, a divine king, want to reverse everything and protect the entire realm of the gods? Do you have the strength to do that? Clear disdain appeared on Tong Qing's face when he saw Yi Shang's attitude. In his opinion, it was praiseworthy for Yi Shang to be able to defeat the golden demonic leader as a god king. However, in Tong Qing's eyes, Night Sorrow was too confident. He did not believe that there was anyone who could reverse yin and yang in the current state of the realm of the gods. If you don't even have the heart to protect the realm of the gods, you will be destroyed. Yi Shang roared and continued. Let's not talk that far. I'll deal with you first, intruder. Kill me first? Let me kill you first. Do you really think that by relying on middle-level divine king strength, you can fight with this seat? Wind Thunder Celestial Eye Technique. Tong Qing said disdainfully. He then used his eye technique and shot it at Night Sorrow. The eye technique that he used was from two normal eyes. One of his eyes used the wind elemental attack, while the other used the lightning elemental attack. Although the two elemental attacks were not too terrifying, they were powerful. When the two rays of light shone on him, Night Sorrow felt a pressure that was different from before. It turned out that this eye technique did not only use divine origin energy to attack, it could also attack one's divine soul. Not bad. I wonder how it can damage my divine soul. Night Sorrow was not used to Tong Qing's eye technique. He felt that his divine soul was being attacked, and he felt a little dizzy. However, his divine soul was stronger than ordinary people. Although he felt uncomfortable, he was still able to withstand it. However, Night Sorrow did not understand why Tong Qing's eye technique would affect his divine soul. He did not feel that his divine soul was being attacked. This was strange. You don't understand, right? There are many things that you don't understand. Rookie in the realm of the gods. This attack dealt a certain amount of damage to Night Sorrow. Tong Qing laughed arrogantly and said, I thought you would have a certain level of strength since you were able to defeat the golden demon leader. I didn't expect you to be so weak. Let's end this battle as soon as possible in order to avoid trouble. Tong Qing yelled. Ruler's immortal eye technique. In an instant, all three of his eyes shone brightly. These three rays of light all contained a strange power that could destroy heaven and earth. This was a power that Night Sorrow had never seen before. What power is this? Night Sorrow was astonished when he saw the three beams of light that seemed to contain an endless amount of strange energy. He was proficient in all kinds of attributes, but he had never seen this kind of attack before, so he wasn't sure how to defend against it. Thus, he could only activate the 33 Heavens secret combat technique once more. After increasing his strength, he created a divine essence trapping formation around himself. However, the divine essence trapping formation that he cast did not block the other party's ocular art. The three rays of light that shot out from Tong Qing's eyes instantly penetrated the sealed space and landed on Night Sorrow's body. After being hit by the rays of light, Night Sorrow instantly felt as though he was an ordinary person who had been struck by lightning. Both his body and spiritual body were extremely uncomfortable. Cough cough. Even though Night Sorrow's body was extremely tough, he was still severely injured by this attack. Hehe. A frog at the bottom of a well. Don't you find it strange? What kind of power is this? Now let me tell you. This is the Immortal Eye technique rewarded by the Immortal Eye territory. Your realm of the gods is about to run out of luck. You have just killed the golden demon leader, but the realm of the gods did not give you a reward. Do you still not understand what is going on? Seeing that Night Sorrow was severely injured, Tongqing explained the source of his power with disdain. Originally, his strength was not considered strong among the sovereigns in the eternal supreme world. However, with the power of the immortal eye, it was completely different. He had relied on this trump card to obtain his current ranking among the sovereigns. In the eternal supreme world, there were a total of tens of thousands of realms. The top sovereigns in each realm were 10,000 people. For Tongqing to be ranked in the top 2,000, he was obviously not a simple person. He looked down on the current realm of the gods, and came here to search for treasures without any scruples. There was still some barrier in his strength. So it is the power of the realm of the gods. It is similar to the origin energy of the gods. It seems that the stronger the luck of the realm of the gods, the greater the reward and strength of the cultivator. My realm of the gods no longer has any realm of the gods to reward cultivators. However, I can obtain the power of merit. Although it is affected, it can still increase my strength rapidly. When Night Sorrow heard Tongqing's words, he immediately understood what kind of power was contained in the eye technique that he had used. He also knew how weak the realm of the gods had become. It was now the autumn of life and death. However, he had just killed the golden demon leader. Although he did not obtain the reward of the realm of the gods, he had obtained a lot of power of merit. Night Sorrow's heart was suddenly filled with boundless confidence. In the eternal supreme world, he still had to walk the path of merit. Haha, why are you in a daze? Are you feeling very hopeless? That's right. Your realm of the gods is about to fall. Despair. When Night Sorrow was thinking about the problem, Tongqing thought that he had suffered a blow and immediately began to mock him. Hopeless? I am not hopeless. There is a saying that goes, heaven is strong, and a gentleman will strive to improve himself. As cultivators, there is no need for us to rely on the power of the realm of the gods. When Night Sorrow said this, a strong power of merit bloomed around his body. In the battle with Tongqing, he was indeed at a disadvantage. However, his strong belief kept him from feeling hopeless. Haha, you are an interesting person. You have deceived yourself to this extent. I have changed my mind. I will not kill you. I will imprison you as a slave. When Tongqing saw Night Sorrow's reaction, she felt that she was looking at a fool who was sitting at the bottom of a well. Your greatest achievement is to rely on the power of the realm of the gods to enter the top 2,000 of the sovereigns in the eternal supreme world. I am not. There are some boldness that you do not understand. Kill. Night Sorrow could completely see through Tongqing's thoughts. However, he was not weaker than anyone else. He was not after the top 2,000, or the top 1,000. He was after something big. After shouting the word kill, Night Sorrow gathered the power of reincarnation in his left hand, and the power of primordial in his right hand. He also used the power of merit to protect himself. He activated the power of bloodline, and used the dragon swimming steps to get closer to Tongqing. Night Sorrow judged that although Tongqing's eye technique was powerful, her close combat skills were definitely not strong. If he were to fight head-on, his secret skill would definitely not be as powerful as Tongqing's. In that case, he might as well use the most primitive way of fighting, close combat to kill. You want to get close to me and engage in close combat? You are thinking too much. Power of the celestial eyes. Destroy. When Tongqing saw Night Sorrow getting closer to her, she immediately became alert and used the power of the celestial eyes again. Chapter 2889. The eye technique transformed the power of the immortal eyes into a destructive force. It was a deadly attack. It was obvious that Tongqing was only trying to distract Night Sorrow when he said he wanted to imprison him. His real intention was to kill him and steal his treasures. The materials that the golden demon leader had turned into could be used to refine a ruler artifact, which could be used until the 9 heavens supreme realm. Any ruler would be jealous of it. Tongqing was good at eye techniques, but he could use them to refine a defensive artifact. Not bad, but you've used similar eye techniques over and over again. How could I not see through them? You lost because you were too confident. You didn't use your strongest eye technique at the beginning. Yi Shan hadn't been able to dodge Tong Qing's previous attacks. This had led Tong Qing to believe that his eye technique couldn't be broken. However, Knight Sorrow had the help of the sea serpent's eye and a lot of battle experience. How could he be suppressed by the same attack? When Tong Qing executed his strongest attack, Knight Sorrow had already seen through it. He successfully dodged the attack and closed the distance between them. God Origin Trap Formation. After closing the distance, Knight Sorrow first executed the God Origin Trap Formation, before engaging in close combat with Tong Qing. You will soon understand that in a battle of life and death, the most important thing is to rely on one's own strength. Knight Sorrow yelled in the midst of the battle. His left and right hands were accumulating the forbidden force, and were protected by the force of good fortune. In addition, Tong Qing was not good at close combat. The outcome of the battle was obvious. After fighting for a while, Tong Qing could not even find a chance to break free from the God Origin Trap Formation. Impossible. How did you dodge my eye technique? Tong Qing had no idea how Knight Sorrow had managed to dodge his strongest eye technique, after closing the distance between them. Every attack has its own trajectory. I've already seen through yours. Knight Sorrow's eyes glittered as he said this. His sea serpent's eye played a crucial role in the battle. I'll give you a chance. If you leave now, I'll pretend that nothing happened. Feeling that she was completely powerless against Knight Sorrow, Tong Qing immediately threatened him. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow laughed speechlessly. Do you think we're playing house? Die. As soon as she finished speaking, Knight Sorrow broke Tong Qing's left arm. I am the #1 ruler of the Immortal Eye Territory. If you kill me, the entire Immortal Eye Territory will take revenge on the God World Territory. If you kill me, you will lose more than you gain. Since Tong Qing's threat did not work, she immediately changed her tone and asked Knight Sorrow to weigh the pros and cons. It's useless for you to say such things. Those who invade the territory of the celestial realm will be killed no matter how far away they are. Die. Knight Sorrow didn't care about this at all. He didn't give Tong Qing a chance to speak, and killed her directly. After Tong Qing was killed, it was different from when the golden demonic leader was killed. She immediately turned into a large amount of sovereign law and essence. If I absorb all of this, I might be able to advance to the upper divine king level, but I don't have enough time. What is this? Her third eye? After killing Tong Qing, most of her body had been turned into nomological laws and essence. However, his third eye had been perfectly preserved. After keeping the sovereign law and essence, Knight Sorrow immediately dug a cave nearby and set up an array. Then he started to study Tong Qing's third eye. Soon he felt that his eyes had a desire to devour the third eye. Immediately, he used his eyes to absorb the essence in the third eye. After absorbing all the essence in Tong Qing's third eye, Knight Sorrow's eyes, which had been strengthened by the sea serpent's eye, became even sharper. Moreover, he could see much further than before. No wonder Tong Qing could see the battle between the golden demonic leader and me. She could see so far and could even see through obstacles. After testing it out, Knight Sorrow realized that as long as he infused his divine origin force, his eyes could see very far and could even see through ordinary obstacles. The effect was even better than using his spiritual strength. This was because if he used his spiritual strength to investigate, he would be discovered by others. However, if he were to observe from a distance, he might not be discovered. Great! The sea serpent's eye is suitable for use in the forbidden area. I wonder if it can see through some restrictions. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow put the sea serpent's eye aside for the time being. He took out the materials that the golden demonic leader had turned into and started to forge the Samsara halberd. In the end, he forged a golden heavenly halberd. Although the golden heavenly halberd is tough enough, it lacks some attributes. I will continue to forge it after I find enough materials. After naming the divine weapon golden heavenly halberd, Knight Sorrow removed the seal of the cave, and continued to follow the footsteps of the 4 wild beasts. He headed deep into the forbidden area. The evolved sea serpent's eye played an important role in this. It could often find clues when Knight Sorrow lost track of the wild beasts. About a month later, after killing a few wild beasts that were left alone, Knight Sorrow finally caught up with the 4 wild beasts that had been moving forward. the mountain demon, heaven-devouring ant, dragon claw skeleton, and heaven-defying fireblade. The 4 wild beasts were all gathered at the foot of the mountain. However, they stopped at the foot of the mountain. Through his observation, Night Sorrow discovered that the leaders of the 4 wild beasts were all middle-level sovereigns. They were all golden wild beasts. The 4 golden wild beasts each lead a large number of wild beasts. Among them, there are about 10,000 heaven-devouring ant, the mountain demon, dragon claw skeleton, heaven-defying fireblade, and about 10 sovereigns. Such a lineup is really powerful. But what are they waiting for at the foot of the mountain? Night Sorrow, who was observing the 4 races from afar with the sea serpent's eye, was extremely nervous. If he was discovered in such a situation, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, after observing for a long time, the 4 wild beasts did not make any movements. There was also nothing unusual about the mountain in front of them. After using the sea serpent's eye to observe other directions, Night Sorrow discovered more than 20 cultivators from other domains. These people were divided into 5 camps. The smallest camp had 3 cultivators who were hiding in the distance and observing the 4 wild beasts. It seems that I am alone. This should be the central region of Disorderly Burial Peak. It can't be the legendary Disorderly Burial Peak, right? After thinking for a moment, a thought flashed through Night Sorrow's mind. He had heard a bit about Disorderly Burial Peak from Morongjinlu. It seemed that every few years, some good things would appear at Disorderly Burial Peak. However, Morongjinlu had only heard about this from some sovereigns. Some sovereigns had come to Disorderly Burial Peak when they were sovereigns and obtained some resources. Chapter 2890. Although Night Sorrow did not know the exact situation of Disorderly Burial Peak, the current situation showed that there was definitely something good on the peak. This was not only shown by the 4 desolate beast races and the cultivators from the other domains. This was because the other desolate beast races in the Forbidden Zone had all retreated to the peak in front of him. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow did not encounter any desolate beasts along the way. I'm not sure what's up with that golden demonic leader. Night Sorrow felt that his luck was not bad to encounter a lone golden demonic leader, when most of the desolate beast races in the Forbidden Zone had retreated to Disorderly Burial Peak. While Night Sorrow was lurking, a small team of 4 from one of the domains began to move towards Disorderly Burial Peak. They had concealment runes on their bodies and their auras were very weak. If one did not look carefully, one would not be able to see them. However, Night Sorrow had already used the sea serpent's eye to discover them. Night Sorrow kept an eye on them while being wary of others. Soon, the 4 of them went around the 4 desolate beast races at the foot of the mountain and moved towards the middle of Disorderly Burial Peak. Their whereabouts were very secretive. The 4 desolate beast races at the foot of the mountain did not discover them at all. However, Night Sorrow laughed. This was because he saw a large number of desolate beasts hiding in the forest that the 4 of them had sneaked into. Among them, there was even a golden desolate beast leader at the middle-level dominator realm. Roar! Not long after, the 4 of them encountered a group of desolate beasts in the forest. These desolate beasts were a type of desolate beast called Disorderly Burial Tiger. They all had the appearance of a tiger with a human body. Other than the golden desolate beast leader, there were more than 20 Dominator Realm desolate beasts. These desolate beasts were obviously different from the desolate beasts of the 4 desolate beast races, such as the mountain demon, heaven-devouring ant, dragon claw skeleton, and heaven-defying fireblade. Even ordinary desolate beasts had 30% to 50% of the golden bloodline. They were much stronger than the ordinary desolate beasts of the 4 desolate beast races. They were completely at the elite level. The 4 cultivators who had sneaked in were from an unknown domain. They were relatively strong. Against such a lineup, they actually had an earth-shattering battle. Especially the female cultivator leading the group, who had a silver horn on her head, was actually evenly matched with the golden Disorderly Burial Tiger. This golden Burial Tiger Beast King was clearly stronger than the golden demonic lord that Night Sorrow had killed. After all, the Golden Devil Chieftain was only a lesser Dominator rank Golden Desolate Beast, while the Golden Burial Tiger had the strength of an intermediate Dominator rank. According to Night Sorrow's judgment, the female cultivator with a silver horn on her head should be much stronger than Tongqing. At the very least, she could be ranked in the top 1,000 of the sovereign list in the eternal supreme world. However, this was only an estimate, and the specifics were not too accurate. However, although the female cultivator with a silver horn on her head was very strong, her 3 companions were obviously no match for the other tigers. After a while, one of them was killed, and they began to show signs of defeat. Not long after, while the silver-horned female cultivator was restrained, her companions were all torn apart by the mass burial tiger, turning into rules and essences that filled the sky. And these mass burial pyro-tigers, after killing the silver-horned female cultivator's companion, attacked the silver-horned female cultivator together. This silver-horned female cultivator is dead for sure. It's a pity that they didn't cause much trouble. Night Sorrow saw that the silver-horned female cultivator was surrounded by a large number of mass burial tiger, and felt that her chances of survival were basically zero. He originally thought that after the other party attacked, the 4 desolate beast races below would move. However, the reality was different from what he imagined. The 4 golden desolate beast leaders did not move at all. They did not even pay much attention to the battle at the mountainside. Oh, you actually escaped under such circumstances? You're really strong, but you better not let me meet you. At this moment, Night Sorrow saw that the silver-horned female cultivator used the horn on her head to shine a ray of light into the sky. She followed the light and disappeared into the horizon instantly. Even when Night Sorrow started using the sea serpent's eye, he could not see any trace of the silver-horned female cultivator. Night Sorrow admired this silver-horned female cultivator, but she was also an intruder. To him, she was someone who should be killed without mercy. Boom. Just when Night Sorrow started using the sea serpent's eye to find the female cultivator's location, there was a sudden muffled thunder. There was only the sound of thunder, but no lightning. After the thunder sounded, the golden desolate beast leaders of the 4 golden desolate beast races all moved. They immediately released their powerful divine domains. Clearly, they were preparing to attack. What does this thunder mean? Night Sorrow knew that the 4 desolate beast races were definitely preparing to go up the mountain. He did not understand the cause and effect of this, but he knew that everyone in the world was here for profit. Something good must have appeared on the mountain. Hence, he made preparations. However, including the teams from the other territories, Night Sorrow's overall strength was definitely the worst. He felt that he should observe the situation after everyone else attacked before deciding whether to go up the mountain. Boom! 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 When Night Sorrow decided what to do, the muffled thunder started to become more frequent. The 4 desolate beast races at the foot of the mountain also started to become restless. Clearly, they were preparing to attack. That's not right. This doesn't sound like thunder, but more like the heartbeat of some creature. What kind of creature is it that has such a terrifying heartbeat? Could it be that a super powerful creature is awakening? Soon, Night Sorrow realized that something was wrong. Although the sound coming from the top of the mountain sounded like thunder, it was like the sound of a heartbeat. However, the frequency of the sound was very similar to the sound of a heartbeat. After thinking about it, he was shocked. At the same time, he recalled the feeling of being stared at by beasts when he first entered the forbidden area of Disorderly Burial Peak. He increasingly felt that there might be an irresistible dominator-level existence on Disorderly Burial Peak. However, it might be in a deep sleep, but the heartbeat proved that it might be awakening. And the actions of the desolate beasts and cultivators from the other territories made Night Sorrow guess that this super-powerful creature might bring a lot of opportunities during its temporary awakening. Otherwise, these desolate beasts and cultivators from the other territories would not be so eager. Boom, 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 boom. While Night Sorrow was thinking about the possibilities, the sound coming from the top of Disorderly Burial Peak became more and more frequent. The thumping sound sounded more and more like a heartbeat. Oh, charge! At this moment, the 4 desolate beast races that were originally restless under Disorderly Burial Peak suddenly charged up the mountain under the command of the Golden Heaven-defying Fireblade leader. After they charged out, the cultivators from the other territories did not make a move. And when the 4 desolate beast races charged up the mountain, disorderly Burial Peak suddenly erupted like a volcano, spewing out a large amount of golden essence. This golden essence sputtered out. Whether it was the 4 desolate beast races that charged up or the other desolate beast races that were originally hiding on the mountain, they all went crazy. Chapter 2891. Golden essence kept sputtering out of the dense mist at the peak. All the wild beasts present were in a frenzy. Many wild beasts fought with other wild beasts for the essence that fell down. For a moment, the sound of wild beasts fighting shook the sky. However, this did not cover up the terrifying heartbeat. The loud thumping sound made Night Sorrow feel very depressed. He could not walk out of the state of heart palpitations. What kind of heartbeat is this? It's too scary. The earth-shaking sounds of fighting could not cover up the heartbeat. Night Sorrow could not help but ponder as he observed the battle. However, he had just come to the eternal supreme world, and was not clear about many things. He thought to himself, "It seems that it's inconvenient to not have a guide. Why don't I find an opportunity to capture a cultivator from another realm, and ask some questions?" At this moment, he missed Morong's guidance. Although she was not very good at guiding the way, she knew more things. If she was here, she might tell him what the heartbeat was about. Moreover, compared to wild beasts, he still hoped to capture a cultivator from another realm. With this idea in mind, Night Sorrow observed the wild beasts that were crazily snatching resources while keeping an eye on the cultivator teams from other realms. For the time being, these teams had at least 3 or 4 cultivators. Some even had 7 or 8 cultivators. He did not have a chance to make a move. The silver-horned female cultivator, who had escaped from the wild beasts, was nowhere to be seen. Night Sorrow did not have any targets for the time being, and continued to bide his time. To him, these golden essences were absorbed by the wild beasts because they were wild beasts from the god world. However, if people from other realms came to snatch them, the meaning was completely different. Oh! Just as Night Sorrow was thinking about what to do, 3 or 4 large pieces of golden essence suddenly sputtered out from the top of the mountain. These golden essences were much larger than the ones before. The energy contained was simply heartbreaking. Even Night Sorrow, who was below the mountain, was attracted by these essences. These pure essences without any impurities were definitely a great tonic for both cultivators and wild beasts. After these large pieces of essence appeared, the dozen or so middle-level sovereigns on the mountain all erupted and joined in the fight. In the area where the king-ranked gold-grade desolate beasts were fighting, normal desolate beasts did not dare to approach. They were still fighting for the smaller pieces. Night Sorrow and the other cultivators at the foot of the mountain were a bit envious. However, if a cultivator went up the mountain in such a situation, they would definitely suffer the most ferocious attacks. Even a peak ruler might not be able to survive. None of them dared to make any moves. I wonder if I can use the golden heavenly halberd to disguise the aura of the golden demon leader. If I can, I might be able to snatch some good stuff away from the golden beast king. Seeing the desolate beasts continuously absorbing the gold essence, Night Sorrow kept thinking of countermeasures. After thinking about it, he felt that the only way was to transform the golden heavenly halberd into a golden demonic leader, and include himself in it. However, he didn't know how much of the golden demonic leader's aura remained after it was turned into a material. Whatever. If I'm exposed, I'll escape immediately. Although these desolate beasts are hostile to cultivators, they won't give up the essence in front of them to chase after me. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to take the risk. He felt that compared to the rewards, this risk was worth it. Therefore, he made a prompt decision and wrapped himself with the golden heavenly halberd, transforming into the appearance of the golden demonic leader. This demonic leader's body had a certain aura of the golden demonic leader. However, there was only about 20% of it remaining, and it was already very weak. Night Sorrow, who was not sure if it would work, imitated the golden demonic leader's actions and rushed towards the essence on the mountain. I don't know if it will work. I feel like I'm indulging in fantasy. Night Sorrow, who had completely concealed his aura, suddenly appeared and was immediately discovered by the cultivators from other realms. This was something he expected. and these cultivators obviously did not dare to make any moves. Night Sorrow was worried about the various desolate beasts on the mountain. He was not sure if they could see through him. But since he had done it, Night Sorrow felt that he had to do it properly and not be afraid of the slightest thing. He imitated the golden demonic leader and rushed towards the nearest mountain demon tribe with a roar, snatching the golden essence in their area. Roar! Night Sorrow suddenly rushed out to snatch the golden essence. These mountain demons roared at first, but when they realized that he was actually a golden demonic leader, they immediately fled in fright. Ordinary desolate beasts had an irresistible fear towards a pure golden desolate beast. They did not even have the mood to sense Night Sorrow's aura. They all ran in another direction. When these pangolin demons were driven away, the golden pangolin king, who was competing with the other golden desolate beasts for resources, looked in Yishan's direction and roared ferociously, as if it was trying to intimidate him. But soon, the golden demonic leader continued to fight with the other desolate beast kings who were competing for large pieces of golden essence. He did not care about Night Sorrow at all. Looks like this move is really feasible. Originally, Night Sorrow felt that this move of his was like child's play and was completely whimsical. But he did not expect that at this moment, he would take the risk and use this method, and it would really succeed. The main reason was that too much golden essence had sputtered out. The other golden desolate beasts did not have the time to care about him. These golden essences are really pure. After the first piece of golden essence erupted from Burial Peak, it did not stop. After Night Sorrow occupied the mountain demon tribe's position, he immediately began to plunder the surrounding golden essence. In about 2 hours, he had plundered over 20 pieces. After these golden essences were plundered, Night Sorrow immediately absorbed them all. To desolate beasts, these golden essences could increase their intrinsic quality, and even allow them to advance and evolve. As for Night Sorrow, these golden essences could not only increase his cultivation, but also strengthen his body. After absorbing these golden essences, Night Sorrow immediately realized that his body had improved by another level. This allowed his strength to increase by quite a bit in a short period of time. No wonder these desolate beasts would scramble for these golden essences. They are really extraordinary. As he continued to absorb these golden essences, and the energy contained within them, Night Sorrow felt extremely satisfied. Just like this, 7 days passed. He had always occupied the position in front of him. The other golden desolate beasts and desolate beasts were still crazily killing each other. As for the cultivators from the other realms, they had endured until now. Obviously, they could no longer endure it. Chapter 2892. In fact, they had no choice but to endure for 7 days. The strength of the wild beasts in front of them was too terrifying. They were not a match for them. After 7 days, the sputtering of essence from the mass Burial Peak became even crazier. The golden wild beasts were getting closer and closer to the peak. The other wild beasts also began to climb up. They were almost halfway up the mountain. Seeing that there were no more wild beasts in the lower half of the mountain, these cultivators began to quietly move up the mountain. At this time, the wild beasts were busy plundering the golden essence, and did not notice these cultivators who were picking up scraps. The amount of golden essence that sputtered down from the top of the mountain was very large. Although they had just climbed up the mountain, they quickly obtained a lot. These golden essences can be given to anyone but you cultivators from another world. Night Sorrow, who had been paying attention to them, was unhappy when he saw these people taking a share. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow used the evolved sea serpent eye to observe the top of the mountain. However, those parts were covered by the mist, and he could not see through them. At this time, the golden wild beast kings were approaching the peak, and continuing to plunder the golden essence. It was unrealistic to use them to deal with the cultivators from other territories. After observing for a while, Night Sorrow came to the position second only to the golden wild beast kings. After receiving a slightly larger essence, he threw it down the mountain. Awoo! When the wild beasts below saw the large pieces of essence being thrown down the mountain, they became restless. From their position, it was impossible to snatch such a large piece of essence. They immediately rushed down. Bastard! What's going on? There seems to be something wrong with that golden demonic chief. The cultivators from other territories who were picking up scraps were excited when they saw Night Sorrow throwing large pieces of golden essence to them. However, they soon found that these slightly larger essences brought them big trouble. Soon the heaven-defying Fireblade tribe and the Mountain Demon tribe rushed over. Behind them, there was the Mass Burial Iron Python tribe. The three tribes added together had dozens of Dominator-level wild beasts. The large-scale charge scared these cultivators, and they quickly retreated from the range of the mountain. As for the three Desolate Beast tribes, their main focus was on snatching the golden essence. After the cultivators retreated from the mountain peak, they stopped pursuing them. It's a pity that we didn't injure them. Night Sorrow felt a little heartache after sacrificing a few of his elites. He felt that it was a pity that they didn't suffer any casualties. However, in comparison, the cultivators from the other realms were completely enraged. Seeing that the Mass Burial Peak was spewing out a large amount of essence, but they couldn't get a single share, these people were going crazy. Bang! 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 At this moment, the Mass Burial Peak suddenly stopped shooting out the golden essence. This way, the terrifying heartbeat became even clearer. At this moment, it was not only Night Sorrow who realized what this heartbeat was. The wild beasts and cultivators from other domains also felt some clues. They were all astonished. He could not figure out what kind of creature could have such a terrifying heartbeat. Why did the mist at the top of the mountain disperse? At this moment, Night Sorrow, who was using the sea serpent's eye to look at the top of the mountain, discovered that the dense fog at the top of the mountain suddenly began to disperse. Dozens of graves were revealed. In the middle of these mounds was a floating stone coffin. Night Sorrow could tell that the terrifying heartbeat was coming from the ancient coffin. Not good. It seems that we should retreat. That loud heartbeat made Yishang's hair stand on end. He immediately made his way down the mountain while the other desolate beasts were distracted. However, Night Sorrow found that he was being watched by the cultivators at the foot of the mountain. Those cultivators had all locked their souls on him. He could completely feel the killing intent of the other party. It seems that they may have discovered that I'm a cultivator in disguise. Now that I'm facing danger from all sides, what should I do? Standing on the mountainside, Night Sorrow couldn't help but think of a solution. If a bloodthirsty wild beast beyond the Supremes really jumped out of the stone coffin, then they would probably be killed. Not only that, even the territory of the God Realm would probably encounter a great disaster. Although he hadn't been in the Eternal Supreme Realm for long, he knew that there was absolutely no existence beyond the Supremes in the God Realm at this time. Thump! 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 At this moment, the heartbeat on the mountaintop suddenly became more intense. Yishang was shocked to discover that there were heartbeats in the other graves as well. Dozens of heartbeats sounded together with the heartbeat in the ancient coffin, causing all the pores on his body to shrink. The cultivators at the foot of the mountain also felt their hair stand on end when they heard these heartbeats. However, they were obviously waiting for Night Sorrow to come and keep an eye on him not far away. Obviously, as long as Night Sorrow went down the mountain, they would attack. What should I do? Up, I can't go up. Down, I can't go down. Night Sorrow, who was blocked halfway up the mountain, realized that the 20 or so cultivators below had probably reached a consensus to deal with him together. A divine king against more than 20 rulers. No matter how strong Night Sorrow was, he was definitely not a match. Therefore, he began to think of a countermeasure. Immediately, Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe the graves. These grave mounds were huge. Each one of them could bury a desolate beast. He used the sea serpent's eye to see through the graves and determine what was inside, but he couldn't do it. His sea serpent's eye seemed to be lacking some maturity. At this time, Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to absorb some of the golden essence in the spatial artifact. After absorbing a large amount of golden essence, Night Sorrow's eye suddenly emitted a golden light. Why is it so hazy inside? After using the golden essence to strengthen the sea serpent's eye, Night Sorrow could immediately see through the graves. He saw that the graves didn't contain corpses as he had imagined, but some green gas. It looked somewhat similar to clouds, but not quite the same. What the hell are these green clouds? As Night Sorrow looked through the graves, He couldn't help but think. He knew too little about the eternal paragon world. He had no idea what these green clouds were. As for the ancient stone coffin in the middle, not only could he not see through it, but he also suffered a backlash because of his observation. Even his eyes were bleeding. Ka, ka, ka. Chapter 2893. It's broken. I wonder if the green clouds will come out. The burial mounds began to break apart one by one. Night Sorrow did not know what it meant, but although his clam dragon eye was damaged and could not be used for the time being, he could see the movements of the golden wild beasts clearly. The golden wild beasts became more restless after the burial mounds began to break apart. According to the reaction of the golden wild beasts, these burial mounds are likely to eject all kinds of resources. Whether it was the wild beasts or the cultivators from the other domains, they all seemed to be experienced. This proved that the situation in front of them was definitely not the first time they had experienced it. Seeing that the golden wild beasts had no intention of leaving and were all restless, Night Sorrow temporarily put aside the uneasiness in his heart and moved towards the top of the mountain again. However, just as he moved past the other wild beasts, the golden wild beasts near the top of the mountain roared at him. Obviously, they were warning him. It seems that there really is something good, otherwise they wouldn't be like this. Although they were warned by the golden wild beasts, Night Sorrow's position was only slightly lower than theirs. If there was something good, he should be able to get it. Therefore, he was quite satisfied. As for the cultivators at the foot of the mountain, they were extremely envious. A male cultivator from the giant spirit domain saw Night Sorrow sneaking up again, and immediately said to the person beside him, "That cultivator should be from the deity realm, right? How did he sneak up? Can he do it by disguising himself as a golden demonic chief? Should we give it a try?" I think that the golden demonic chief he transformed into was obtained from killing a demonic chief. It has the aura of a real golden demonic chief, so it can't be discovered by the wild beasts. This is something we can't do. After all, we only have ordinary wild beast materials. A female cultivator beside him speculated. No. Hearing this, the male cultivator from the giant spirit domain suddenly brightened and said, "He has the golden demonic chief materials, so he can disguise himself as a golden demonic chief. Then we can disguise ourselves as ordinary wild beasts. What do you think?" "What you said seems to make sense. We can give it a try." The male cultivator from the giant spirit domain discussed with his friends in his domain and began to transmit messages to the cultivators from the other domains. After a short discussion, they all transformed into heaven-devouring ants. Compared to the other desolate beasts, the number of heaven-devouring ants was the highest. The addition of 20 or so heaven-devouring ants was not too eye-catching. "You guys really know how to copy a cat and draw a tiger. However, when you were down there, I had no way to deal with you. Now that you're up here, things are much easier." Night Sorrow, who was paying attention to the grave, was also paying attention to the cultivators below. Night Sorrow sneered inwardly as he watched them transform into heaven-devouring ants and sneak up the slope. He had an idea, but at this time, his focus was on the graves, so he didn't immediately deal with the cultivators from the other territories. Under Night Sorrow's gaze, the tombs began to crack. After these mounds cracked, the green clouds that Night Sorrow had previously observed all transformed into desolate beasts that crawled out of their graves. Seeing the desolate beasts formed from the clouds, the golden desolate beasts immediately went crazy. Each of them attacked the cloud-like desolate beasts. As for the other ordinary desolate beasts, they formed groups and fought with the cloud-like desolate beasts. What's going on? Could it be that defeating these cloud-like desolate beasts will give me something good? Night Sorrow was surprised when he saw these desolate beasts forming groups and fighting with the cloud-like desolate beasts. He and the cultivators who had transformed into heaven-devouring ants were obviously at a loss. However, Night Sorrow's reaction was so fast that he didn't give the other golden desolate beasts or ordinary desolate beasts a chance to suspect him. He immediately found a tiger-like desolate beast and started fighting. Night Sorrow was clear about the nature of the cloud-like desolate beasts. He originally thought that their attacks would be soft, but soon, he found that these cloud-like desolate beasts were ferocious and close to the golden desolate beasts. Even he found it difficult to deal with them. Moreover, their toughness was shocking. They were even stronger than his body. Fortunately, he was using the body of the golden demonic lord to fight. Boom. After fighting for about an hour, Night Sorrow and the cloud-like desolate beast in front of him still hadn't come to a conclusion. The golden heaven-defying fire saber monarch defeated the cloud-like desolate beast in front of him. The cloud-like desolate beast that was killed by the heaven-defying fire saber monarch immediately turned into a material that looked like essence gold. The aura of a supreme being? Night Sorrow, who was fighting against the cloud-like desolate beast in front of him, immediately reacted. What would he get if he killed the desolate beast in front of him? A genuine supreme being material. Although the heaven-defying fire saber monarch obtained a supreme being material the size of a fist after killing the cloud-like desolate beast, it was definitely a genuine supreme being material. This was because supreme being materials were extremely rare. Many true supreme beings didn't even have a supreme being artifact. Most people's divine artifacts were dominator divine artifacts. It was just that some supreme being materials were added to it. Seeing that killing the cloud-like desolate beast would give him supreme essence gold, Night Sorrow's attacks immediately became sharp. As for the golden heaven-defying fire saber monarch, after killing the cloud-like desolate beast in front of him, it immediately pounced on the other cloud-like desolate beasts. The heaven-defying fire saber monarch, who was originally attacking the cloud-like desolate beast, immediately gave way to him when they saw the fire saber monarch rushing over. Together with the other heaven-defying fire saber monarch, they continued to pin down another cloud-like desolate beast. Apart from the heaven-defying fire saber monarch, the other desolate beast clans behaved similarly. This was because after the cloud-like desolate beast appeared, if it wasn't pinned down, it would slowly disintegrate in the air. A disintegrated cloud-like desolate beast wouldn't produce supreme essence gold. Boom. When Night Sorrow killed the cloud-like desolate beast in front of him, he also obtained a piece of supreme essence gold. At this moment, he realized that other than the desolate beast that was pinned down, the others had already dispersed in the air. At this moment, the cultivators from the other territories that had transformed into heaven-devouring ants had already killed a desolate beast, and were fighting with other desolate beasts. Night Sorrow looked around and realized that, including the one that he had just killed, they had pinned down a total of 4 cloud-like desolate beasts. It seems like you all came from 4 different territories. If you want to kill 4 cloud-like desolate beasts in a harmonious manner, each territory will get a piece of supreme essence gold. That's a good idea, and it's very harmonious. However, how can I let you take away something that belongs to the realm of the gods so easily? Chapter 2894. Night Sorrow imitated the golden demonic monarch's voice. The similarity was only 60 to 70%, and the tone was a little strange. It was very different from a real wild beast. But after shouting those words, all of this was no longer important. Many wild beasts, including the golden demonic monarch, all looked at the 20 or so cultivators disguised as demonic monarchs. Not good. Give up on these cloud beasts and retreat. The male cultivator from the giant being clan realized that something was wrong and immediately shouted to everyone. Actually, at this time, everyone knew what was going on without him shouting. Everyone cast a hateful look at Night Sorrow and immediately ran down the mountain. Kill. While they were running, they naturally unleashed their best body techniques and released all of their auras. The wild beasts present were not willing to give up when they realized that everyone was a cultivator. The kings, including the demonic monarchs, all ordered their clans to chase after the fleeing cultivators. Although there were many cloud beasts in front of them that had not been killed, they chose to give up. Obviously, to these wild beasts, the infiltration of cultivators was intolerable. The golden demonic rock spread its wings and had the power to cover the sky. In the blink of an eye, it caught up with a female cultivator from the giant being clan. This female cultivator was very flustered as she fled. Although she had the strength of a middle-level dominator, her body was torn to shreds by the golden demonic rock. Although the others from the giant being clan were angry, they did not dare to continue fighting. The leading male cultivator from the giant being clan took out a magic weapon and temporarily repelled the golden demonic rock that caught up with them, increasing the distance between them. Cultivators of the heavenly realm, just you wait. The leading male cultivator from the giant being clan did not manage to snatch back his companion's body. Seeing her being torn to shreds, he immediately looked at Night Sorrow behind him and shouted loudly, "Wait. I have already remembered all of your auras. I will settle accounts with you one by one. The heavenly realm is not a place where you can behave so atrociously." Night Sorrow did not shout, but transmitted his voice to the male cultivator from the giant being clan. When it came to cultivators from other territories who treated the god realm like their backyard, Yishang memorized their auras very clearly. What he used was the tracking secret method he learned from the Horn clan. When he left the forbidden area, he could still track them. However, Night Sorrow did not follow the wild beasts to chase after the cultivators from other realms. Instead, he used the concealment rune to quietly hide underground and stay there without anyone noticing. At this moment, the cloud mist desolate beasts were no longer restrained. They began to dissipate one by one. However, the desolate beast army did not chase too far, so he could not attack. Soon, the remaining 20 or so cloud beasts were reduced to 5. From 5, it became 3, and finally, there was only 1. At the same time, a few of the gold leaders among the wild beasts had successfully caught up with some of the otherworldly cultivators who were fleeing in different directions. The two sides engaged in a fierce battle. Every single one of these cultivators from other territories had extremely powerful existences among them. At the very least, it would be able to contend against a mid-level gold-ranked desolate beast for a short period of time, preventing the team from suffering too much of a loss. However, as time passed, the other gold-colored desolate beasts and some of the stronger desolate beasts also caught up. After being besieged, the situation started to become miserable. They began to break out of the encirclement. While they were fighting, Night Sorrow prepared to attack the last remaining cloud mist desolate beast. However, at this moment, a person suddenly floated down from the void. This person was the silver-horned female cultivator, who escaped from the gold-colored desolate beast a few days ago. After the gold-colored desolate beasts disappeared, the silver-horned female cultivator climbed down quickly using an invisible heaven-piercing vine. She began to fight with the last cloud mist desolate beast. She wanted to have a share of the loot, so you can use this invisible heaven-piercing vine to climb into the void and disappear into the horizon. However, since you are here, don't even think about going back. The heaven-piercing vine controlled by the silver-horned female cultivator was colorless. If Night Sorrow had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have noticed it either. In the forbidden area, no one dared to fly upwards. Hence, she managed to escape easily the last time she tried to escape. At this moment, he saw the female cultivator fighting with the last cloud mist desolate beast. Night Sorrow, who disdained to hide and sneak attack, directly activated a simple concealment rune and appeared from the top of the mountain. He said, "If you had been hiding, you would not have been discovered. Now don't even think about leaving. The God Realm is not a place where you can come and go as you wish. So it's you. You actually did not take advantage of the chaos to escape. You are really daring." Seeing Night Sorrow, the silver-horned female cultivator snorted and berated. "For your own personal gain, you actually betrayed the cultivators to the desolate beasts. You are really shameless. The real shameless ones are you all. You are acting all righteous here. But in fact, aren't you here to steal from the God Realm? What's the difference between you and a shameless thief? Compared to those desolate beasts, you all are even more despicable." Night Sorrow sneered and continued, "In the future, with me around, every cultivator who looks down on the God Realm and sneaks in to steal will be killed." As he spoke, Night Sorrow returned to his original appearance. Holding the golden heavenly halberd, he stabbed at the female cultivator. This attack was not an absolute art, but its power was not weak at all. It was something that Night Sorrow had accumulated in the past. After advancing to the Divine King realm, and absorbing a large amount of the Sovereign's law and essence, his understanding of the wall intent became stronger and stronger. An ordinary attack contained the unparalleled Sovereign's law. It was not an absolute art, but it was better than an absolute art. Umph. You say it so righteously. But, with your strength, can you defend it? Which of the nearby territories is not much stronger than your God Realm territory? The silver-horned female cultivator said disdainfully, and took out a golden vine from her space grotto heaven. This vine was about the same length as the golden heavenly halberd. After the silver-horned female cultivator took it out, she used the vine to smash Night Sorrow's golden heavenly halberd. Boom! After the two collided, a loud sound was heard. As the two of them retreated, they were both shocked. Neither of them was at a disadvantage, but they looked into the distance at the same time to make sure that they were not discovered by the desolate beasts in the battle. However, what made the two of them happy was that the battle in the distance was even more shocking. The sound was so loud that it shook the sky. The confrontation between the two of them was nothing. After realizing this, Night Sorrow was relieved. At this moment, the silver-horned female cultivator saw that the cloud desolate beast was showing signs of collapsing. She immediately attacked the cloud desolate beast. After being attacked by her, the cloud desolate beast that was about to collapse instantly solidified again. You want to fight with me and steal my resources? Seeing that the silver-horned female cultivator wanted to fight with him and kill the cloud desolate beast, Night Sorrow sneered. Chapter 2895. After increasing his strength, Night Sorrow used the golden heavenly halberd in his hand and fired 3 consecutive shots. These 3 shots weren't absolute arts, but they contained the powerful invincible sovereign law. The invincible sovereign law was completely different from the ordinary sovereign law. It contained an invincible Tao. Lunatic. You're a lunatic. Seeing that he was holding back the cloud beast, Night Sorrow actually went crazy and attacked even more fiercely. Moreover, he didn't care about the cloud beast in front of him at all. One had to know that when a cloud beast was killed, it would drop supreme being materials. Not to mention sovereigns, even supreme beings wouldn't be unmoved by such materials. However, Night Sorrow didn't care at all and fought with it as if he was guarding his home. The silver-horned female cultivator, who had given up on the cloud beast and fought with Night Sorrow, roared angrily. She was different from the others. She had just climbed down from the void and hadn't obtained any supreme being materials. She was very indignant. You can call me a lunatic or a fool. It's impossible for you to plunder the resources of the heavenly realm in front of me. The silver-horned female cultivator also increased her strength and tried her best to block the 3 consecutive shots. Night Sorrow said coldly. He used a spear art. This move was called the Reincarnation 9 Heavens art. It was strengthened after Night Sorrow absorbed the invincible sovereign law and essence. It was different from all the previous spear arts. The Reincarnation 9 Heavens was used. It was as if all the energy in the surrounding void was being sucked in, creating an extremely powerful aura. Moreover, the entire void bloomed with a golden light. Such a move was so powerful that it might even alarm the groups of desolate beasts that were fighting with the cultivators of other territories. However, Night Sorrow didn't care at all. I've never seen a lunatic like you. Facing Night Sorrow's move, the silver-horned female cultivator felt very helpless. She had the ability to resist this move, but if she used it, it would definitely attract the attention of other desolate beasts. This was something she didn't want to see. Therefore, facing such a move, the silver-horned female cultivator once again used her escape technique and returned to the sky. This made her very unwilling, because every time she returned to the sky, she needed a lot of time to recover. Last time, she had recovered for a few days. She probably wouldn't be able to get the opportunity in front of her. You lost because you didn't have the courage to fight. I still have to thank you for helping me capture the desolate beast in front of me. Just as the silver-horned female cultivator was escaping back into the sky, Night Sorrow's Reincarnation 9 Heavens struck the cloud beast ferociously. The desolate beasts that had yet to disappear were almost instantly killed by this attack. Thus, the battle that followed became extremely simple. Night Sorrow easily killed him, and obtained the supreme being material that he had turned into. Damn it! You actually got off easy. Above the void, the silver-horned female cultivator was infuriated when she saw Night Sorrow kill the cloudy mist desolate beast. However, What made her unhappy was yet to come. After Yishang killed the last cloud mist desolate beast and turned it into supreme materials, Yishang's eyes lit up. The lid of the ancient stone coffin had actually opened. A golden cloud desolate beast appeared from within. This golden cloud desolate beast was obviously stronger than the other cloud beasts, but it didn't have any battle techniques. Night Sorrow, who had already adapted to how to battle with the cloud beast, killed it in the end despite the difficulty of the battle. He obtained a piece of supreme being material the size of a head. This was about 20 times bigger than the supreme being material obtained from killing normal desolate beasts. The Silverhorn female cultivator was extremely unhappy, and she was also extremely envious. However, she had no choice. Every time she went up into the sky, she had to expend too much energy, so she didn't have the chance to come down and fight for the opportunity. What do you have to be envious of that belongs to the realm of the gods? Night Sorrow looked at the void with disdain. He had seen the Silverhorn female cultivator's vine before, and he was about to strike it down. However, at this moment, another golden cloud desolate beast crawled out from the ancient stone coffin. Night Sorrow, who didn't know when the army of desolate beasts would return, felt that the Silverhorn female cultivator wouldn't be able to obtain anything from above, and thus continued to battle with the desolate beasts in front of him. Soon, he killed another golden cloud desolate beast. He obtained another piece of supreme being material the size of a head. At this moment, seeing that Night Sorrow had successfully obtained 2 pieces of supreme being material, the Silverhorn female cultivator was so angry that she vomited blood. However, she could only watch, and she couldn't come down. 2 pieces of supreme being material. Even if I can't forge a supreme artifact, I should be able to strengthen the golden heavenly halberd to a certain extent. There's actually more. Just as Night Sorrow was lamenting about his harvest, another golden cloud desolate beast crawled out from the ancient stone coffin. However, Night Sorrow, who had consumed a vitality recovery elixir, was about to fight with it, when he realized that the army of desolate beasts had returned. At this moment, they had already reached the foot of the mountain. It was impossible for him to retreat after killing the golden cloud desolate beast. Serves you right. Let's see how you can retreat. In the void, the Silverhorn female cultivator saw that the army of desolate beasts had returned, and she sneered at Night Sorrow. She wanted to see the scene of him being torn apart by the desolate beasts. What should I do? If I leave now, there's a high chance that I can escape, but I'm not willing. If the current Night Sorrow continued to pretend to be a golden demonic lord and set up a concealment array, there was a high chance that he could deceive his way out. However, he was not willing to let the golden cloud desolate beasts that crawled out from the ancient stone coffin fall into the hands of the desolate beasts. At this moment, the desolate beasts were getting closer to the mountain peak. Why don't I take a risk? Let's take a risk. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow made an extremely dangerous decision, which was to enter the ancient stone coffin where the golden cloud desolate beasts had crawled out. He wanted to see if he could obtain more resources. Night Sorrow felt that if he didn't do this, he wouldn't be able to obtain any resources. This was because there were too many golden cloud desolate beasts that had returned. Furthermore, these beast kings had large numbers of desolate beasts under them. Night Sorrow couldn't fight against them at all. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow didn't hesitate to run towards the ancient stone coffin and crawl in. Boom. When Night Sorrow crawled in, he realized that there was a space with a radius of 100 feet inside the ancient stone coffin. In the middle of the space, there was a circular hole. The terrifying heartbeat came from the hole, which was why he didn't dare to enter. Hence, he began to set up an array in the ancient stone coffin. He thought that if there were any more golden cloud desolate beasts that crawled out, he would finish them off in the ancient stone coffin, not giving any chance to the other desolate beasts. He's a complete lunatic. At this moment, the silver-horned female cultivator, who was hiding in the void, was completely speechless at Night Sorrow. She originally thought that Night Sorrow was only ruthless to others, but she didn't expect him to be ruthless to himself as well, daring to take the risk and enter the ancient stone coffin. Chapter 2896. If it was the silver-horned female cultivator, She felt that she could not even think of entering the ancient coffin, let alone take the risk to enter it. For the Divine King to have such battle strength and crazy drive, if he doesn't die and successfully advances to the Dominator level, I'm afraid that he will be a threat to our Silverhorn territory. The silver-horned female cultivator, who was hiding in the void, thought for a while. She felt that if Night Sorrow matured normally, he would definitely have a place among the Dominators. He might even be able to reach a ranking that even she did not dare to imagine. While she was worried about her territory, the silver-horned female cultivator was not worried about her own safety. She could wait for the desolate beast army below to disperse before leaving quietly. Indeed, a golden cloud desolate beast has appeared. Night Sorrow, who was hiding in the ancient stone coffin, waited for a while. Indeed, he saw a golden cloud desolate beast climbing up from below. A smile appeared on Yi Shang's face when he saw the golden cloud desolate beast. Then he started fighting with it. As he had already set up an array, the desolate beasts outside could not hear him at all. However, this made the loud heartbeat sound much weaker. There were still some loopholes. Outside, the Golden Beast Kings, who had killed the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast and started fighting for it, were also puzzled after the dust settled on the supreme level material. In the past, they felt that there would be more than one Golden Cloud Desolate Beast. If no one restrained it, the Golden Cloud Desolate Beast would wander around the restricted area until it was killed. And regardless of whether the first one was killed or not, the rest would continue to appear after a certain period of time. At this moment, they had killed the Golden Desolate Beast in front of them. After waiting for a long time, no other beast appeared. This made many of the Golden Desolate Beasts present puzzled. Listen, the heartbeat below seems to be much weaker. I feel that the existence below no longer has the ability to produce a large number of Golden Cloud Desolate Beasts. After waiting for a long time and not seeing any Golden Cloud Desolate Beast appear, the Golden Heaven Defying Fire Saber Monarch said doubtfully. Among the Desolate Beast tribes, there were usually conflicts and fights. When they were fighting for resources, there were also fights. But since there were no resources in front of them, there was no need for them to fight. I think that might be the case. I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to obtain these resources in the future. It seems like the only way to continue advancing is to slaughter and plunder. The Golden Demonic Rock's face revealed a ferocious killing intent. Golden Demonic Rock, what do you mean? Could it be that you want to attack us? The Golden Demonic Rock was the strongest expert present. However, he did not possess the ability to fight against 10 people alone. After he spoke, some people became displeased. What I'm trying to say is that we should leave the forbidden area and kill some cultivators. You've all seen how arrogant the cultivators of today are. How dare you sneak into the depths of the forbidden zone and compete with us for the fortuitous encounter? The Golden Demonic Rock released a ferocious murderous aura. At this moment, he was already infinitely close to the level of a higher ruler. His aura was extremely shocking. But there are a large number of Supremes in the cultivators' territories. We can't fight against them. After the Golden Demonic Rock spoke, the heaven-defying flame saber, who usually did not move around in the forbidden area, said in disdain. He felt that this matter was not reliable. There were no supreme beings in the forbidden land. They were powerless against the entire divine world. We don't have supreme beings, but their supreme beings never enter the plains. As long as we design a fake fortuitous encounter in the plains and lure a large number of cultivators out, we can kill a large number of Dominator Realm cultivators. The Golden Demonic Rock revealed a sinister expression. You must have gained a lot from devouring those cultivators just now, right? Just now, when the Golden Demonic Rock was chasing after more than 20 cultivators from other territories, it had devoured 3 higher Dominator Realm cultivators in a row. It had gained a lot of benefits and was vaguely about to break through to the higher Dominator Realm. Therefore, it was somewhat addicted. As for the Golden Demonic Beast, the difficulty of advancing was much higher than that of ordinary cultivators or demonic beasts. After sensing the benefits, it could not help but plot against the cultivators. Hearing the Golden Demonic Rock's plot, the heaven-defying flame saber said, "But for countless years, the plains have always been the territory of our 4 tribes. You occupy the better forbidden area. Now that the resources in the forbidden area are running out, you come out and compete with us for the plains. This is unreasonable. What's unreasonable about this? We're not occupying your plains for a long time. We're just planning to lure cultivators here. After killing them, we'll return to the forbidden area. Or we'll attack the tribes or other forbidden areas. The golden demonic rock smiled and looked at the other golden demonic beast leaders in the forbidden area. It asked, "What do you think of my idea?" Obviously, it was not only the cultivators in the realm of the gods, but also the tribes and other forbidden areas. It was natural that the golden demonic rock wanted to become a supreme being as soon as possible. The other golden demonic beasts present were also full of fighting spirit, and were quickly persuaded. Haha, it seems that the Dominator realm cultivators in the realm of the gods will be killed soon. What will you do when I see it? The silver-horned female cultivator hiding in the void, and using a secret technique to observe everything, looked at the stone ancient coffin and gritted her teeth. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow, she would definitely have gained a lot today. She wouldn't be hiding in the void in such a sorry state like she was now. At this time, Night Sorrow in the ancient coffin had already killed 2 golden demonic beasts in a row. In total, he had obtained 4 skull-sized supreme being materials. If he could get more, he might be able to get a supreme being to help him refine a supreme being divine artifact. How could Night Sorrow not be happy? Moreover, the golden demonic beasts in the ancient coffin were still appearing. Just as Night Sorrow was thinking, another golden demonic beast that was even stronger appeared. After fighting with it, Night Sorrow obtained another large piece of supreme being material. With such a big harvest, even Night Sorrow could not control his joy. There are more? Just as Night Sorrow was feeling excited, another golden demonic beast suddenly climbed up from below. In terms of strength, this golden demonic beast was obviously much stronger than the previous one. In terms of appearance, it was even bigger than the golden demonic beasts that Night Sorrow had just killed. He knew that this golden demonic beast was very likely to be a king-level golden demonic beast. This golden demonic beast king is probably not easy to deal with. After checking the golden demonic beast king's aura, Night Sorrow immediately realized that this golden demonic beast king was not easy to deal with. And the facts proved this point. This golden demonic beast king was much stronger than the other golden demonic beasts. Chapter 2897. The upper Dominator rank golden desolate beast was something Night Sorrow couldn't fight against. It was almost certain that he had no chance of winning against it. Although Night Sorrow was confident in his own strength, he knew that the opponent in front of him wasn't something he could fight against. Actually, it wasn't just Night Sorrow who wasn't the upper Dominator rank golden desolate beast's opponent. The middle Dominator rank golden desolate beasts outside also needed to work together to defeat it. Because of this, after experiencing such opportunities a few times, these golden desolate beasts would relatively peacefully compete for resources. Otherwise, they would have fought to the death long ago. Ow! After the upper Dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast appeared, it attacked Night Sorrow while he was thinking. It was different from the golden cloud desolate beasts that had just appeared. These cloud desolate beasts relied on their instincts to fight in close combat. The upper Dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast's first attack was a soul attack. After being roared, Night Sorrow instantly felt his head explode and his entire divine ocean shake. It is indeed very strong. If I get rid of it, I'll definitely get more supreme grade materials. However, I'm definitely not its opponent. How can I get rid of it? Night Sorrow, whose soul had been shaken, thought to himself. However, including killing other people to obtain items, he had thought of all possibilities, but found that he couldn't kill it. In reality, the cloud desolate beast in front of Night Sorrow was already the final opportunity this time. In the past, when a desolate beast of his rank appeared, many golden desolate beasts had to attack together to defeat it. Although the upper Dominator rank golden desolate beast was only a small realm higher than the middle Dominator rank golden desolate beast, there was a huge difference in strength. Very quickly, Night Sorrow found that not only was he unable to win, even staying alive was a problem. While he was thinking, The golden cloud desolate beast in front of him had already started attacking continuously. If I undo the formation, the golden desolate beasts outside will definitely discover my existence. If that happens, I won't be able to survive. After encountering danger, Night Sorrow realized that he had no chance of winning against the golden cloud desolate beast in front of him in such a narrow space. Furthermore, he could not open the array formation and let the people outside know that he could enter the ancient stone coffin. As for the golden cloud desolate beast in front of him, it was clearly different from the others. It had self-attacking awareness and had no intention of letting Night Sorrow off. It was impossible to get out of the stone coffin. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow found an opportunity to jump into the hole in the ancient coffin. Night Sorrow jumped into the hole and immediately felt that he had entered a teleportation array. By the time he recovered from the dizziness, he found himself in a vast and empty field. In this wilderness, there was a lush green grassland. Within a radius of 100,000 miles, there was not a single living creature. Where is this? There is no golden cloud mist desolate beast. Night Sorrow used the sea serpent's eye to observe for a while, but he didn't discover any cloud desolate beasts or other creatures. Furthermore, he couldn't sense anything with his divine sense. But soon, a terrifying heartbeat could be heard from underground. Bang, bang, bang. That loud sound was like a heavy hammer pounding on Night Sorrow's eardrums. It was very uncomfortable. Could it be that the terrifying existence is underground? Has he surpassed the Supreme Being level? Why don't I go down and take a look? After the sound rang out, Night Sorrow immediately released his divine domain and virtue power to wrap himself up. In this way, the impact of the terrifying heartbeat was reduced by a lot. However, it also slightly reduced the degree of discomfort. He had no idea how to solve the crisis in front of him. After searching the small world in front of him, Night Sorrow didn't find anything at all. He also didn't know how to leave. He made up his mind and dug down. After digging down for about 10,000 miles, the heartbeat began to become even more terrifying. It shocked Night Sorrow's divine sea to the point that it began to tremble. But at this moment, Night Sorrow found that the golden heavenly halberd could no longer continue. He dug up an extremely hard metal. After carefully identifying it, Night Sorrow was shocked. It turned out that this was a large piece of Supreme Being level material. No way. It's so big? It can totally create a complete Supreme Being level artifact. It's just that I'm not sure if there's a blacksmith in the divine realm who can create it. After finding out that he dug up a Supreme Being level material, Night Sorrow immediately waved the golden heavenly halberd again and continued to dig. In the end, he found out that the Supreme Being level material in front of him was about the size of a city gate. Such a large Supreme Being level material, in the hands of a top blacksmith, could definitely create a perfect Supreme Being level artifact. However, Night Sorrow wasn't sure if there was anyone in the divine realm who could create a Supreme Being level artifact. At most, he could create a Dominator level artifact. Forget it. Let's not think about this. Let's see if there are other Dominator level materials in other places. Anyway, I can't find the exit of the small world. After that, Night Sorrow, whose ears were almost ringing due to the vibrations, immediately continued to dig. At the end of the digging, his ears were already bleeding from the vibrations. He couldn't take it anymore and gave up completely. Other than the piece just now, he found another piece of similar size. The harvest was indeed not small. As for that terrifying heartbeat, although the sound didn't become louder, the frequency had obviously increased by a lot. The frequency of the heartbeat was getting more and more rapid, which made Night Sorrow's heart palpitate. As he returned to the surface and set up a defensive array, the palpitating feeling weakened a little. In such an environment, 10 years' time passed very quickly. Night Sorrow still couldn't find the way out. Therefore, he began to study the Supreme Being level material in his hands and observe the rules within the Supreme Being level material. After observing for a whole 30 years, his understanding of the Supreme Being level material had improved a little. However, that was all. He couldn't use these materials to create equipment directly. These materials were something that he couldn't control for the time being. He couldn't even merge some of them into the golden heavenly halberd. Night Sorrow's cultivation didn't improve much in these tens of years. He was still a little far from the upper divine king realm. As for those terrifying heartbeats, after it reached a certain level, it gradually became more frequent. That thumping rhythm was very similar to a cultivator's heartbeat. Could it be that the terrifying existence below has come back to life? Is this a blessing or a curse? Chapter 2898. If the terrifying existence below were to come back to life, the first person it would encounter would definitely be him. He had no ability to resist such an existence. Are you afraid? Just as Night Sorrow was pondering, a voice suddenly rang out in the small world. This voice was vast and majestic, and it instantly spread throughout the small world. Are you talking to me? Night Sorrow used his spiritual energy to sense for a while, but he could not find where the person who spoke was. You don't have to search. You can't find me. I am the origin of the Supreme Essence Gold World. The vast and majestic voice spoke again. At this moment, Night Sorrow realized that the heartbeat that originally existed in the small world had suddenly disappeared. He immediately asked, "That terrifying heartbeat, is it yours?" "It is mine, and also the Supreme Essence Gold World." The vast voice rang out again. At the same time, a humanoid creature made of essence gold appeared in front of Night Sorrow. His appearance was clearly an imitation of Yi Chang. There was only a small difference between the two. I see. Night Sorrow thought for a while, and continued asking. You are the origin will that was just born in this world. What do you think? What are you going to do? I am the origin, and also a sacred spirit. I don't know what to do. Can you tell me about this world? The origin of the Supreme Essence Gold World said blankly. He was a newly born sacred spirit. Although his strength was at the peak of the Supreme Realm, he had not experienced anything. It could be said that he was a completely pure soul. I don't know much about this world, but I can let you know the path that I have been on. Night Sorrow explained his experiences to the sovereign sacred spirit. He could feel that the other party had no ill intentions, so he was very relaxed. So this is what this world is like. Everyone has to shoulder their responsibilities. And my responsibility is to protect this world. The sovereign sacred spirit, who was originally at a loss, was at the peak of the supreme realm. After listening to Night Sorrow's explanation, he pondered for a while, and completely understood. He had his own ideas. I would like to ask, how do I leave the Supreme Essence Gold World? I want to return to the Eternal Supreme World. After the Sovereign Holy Spirit roughly understood what was going on in this world, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment before asking. He felt that since the Sovereign Holy Spirit was the origin of this world, it was like the ruler of this world. It would definitely be able to help him leave. I can let you return to the stone coffin, but I can't help you with anything else. The Sovereign Holy Spirit knew about Night Sorrow's experience, and how he came to the Sovereign Pure Gold World. After saying that, the Holy Spirit continued. Actually, when you were fighting against those cloud mist desolate beasts, I was the one who leaked out my aura. They were sucked into the ancient coffin and turned into desolate beasts. The next time the ancient coffin absorbs the aura, I can send you over. At that time, the lid of the ancient coffin will open by itself, and you can leave by yourself. What? The ancient coffin has nothing to do with you? Hearing the Sovereign Holy Spirit's words, Night Sorrow felt a chill run down his spine. Originally, he had thought that the ancient coffin was just the entrance to the Supreme Refined Gold World, and was nothing special at all. But now it seemed that things were not so simple. Strange, very strange. In fact, the reason why I can become a Sovereign Holy Spirit is directly related to the ancient coffin. The entire Supreme Refined Gold World is absorbing the energy of the ancient coffin, which is why there are so many sovereign-grade materials. The Sovereign Holy Spirit explained to Night Sorrow. He did not know when the ancient coffin had appeared, but he knew that the Supreme Refined Gold World was formed because of its nourishment. It seems like the ancient coffin is the most terrifying existence in the Forbidden Zone. After listening to the Sovereign Holy Spirit's explanation, Night Sorrow immediately became wary of the ancient coffin. At this time, the Sovereign Holy Spirit sent a voice transmission to Night Sorrow, In the ancient coffin, there is, he originally wanted to say something, but he suddenly stopped. After 100 years, I will send you out. What's wrong? What is in the ancient coffin? The sovereign Holy Spirit was about to say something, but it suddenly stopped. Knight Sorrow asked curiously. However, the sovereign Holy Spirit suddenly disappeared. No matter how he asked, he did not appear again. Could it be that there is a terrifying existence in the ancient coffin? Did they warn the sovereign Holy Spirit? After the sovereign Holy Spirit completely disappeared, Knight Sorrow sat on the ground alone and started to ponder. When the sovereign Holy Spirit said that he would be sent to the ancient coffin after 100 years, he started to think about how to leave successfully. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow said to himself, "There are no desolate beasts in the supreme refined gold world. It is not realistic to increase my strength quickly. I should continue to study the sovereign grade materials." If he cultivated step by step, the chances of him breaking through to the upper Divine King's level in 100 years were not high. Knight Sorrow continued to study the laws of the supreme refined gold world. He wanted to increase his strength as much as possible. After 100 years, when the opportunity opened, he would appear in the ancient stone coffin if there were no accidents. Knight Sorrow planned to return to the Forbidden Zone in the midst of the chaos. He did not want to stay in the ancient coffin any longer. Time flew by in a hurry. 100 years passed quickly as Knight Sorrow was immersed in his research. When he studied for 80 years, he smelted a fingernail-sized piece of supreme refined gold world into the golden heavenly halberd. Although he only smelted a small piece of supreme refined gold world, the golden heavenly halberd's offensive power increased by about 10 times. In the next 20 years, Knight Sorrow had been perfecting the myriad Tao divine technique. While he perfected the Divine King's immortal divine technique, he also added a trace of sovereign grade laws. Furthermore, he added a trace of sovereign grade laws to the reincarnation 9 heavens arts. The Divine King could integrate a trace of sovereign grade laws. Knight Sorrow had created a precedent. One day, he was practicing the new reincarnation 9 heavens arts with the strengthened reincarnation, heavenly halberd. The sovereign Holy Spirit suddenly appeared and brought him to the underground of the supreme refined gold world to bid him farewell. Before Knight Sorrow could say anything, he felt his body being sucked into a tunnel. When he changed, he found himself in the depths of the ancient stone coffin that he had stayed in before. What is going on? You didn't die. When Knight Sorrow appeared in the space of the ancient stone coffin, he found that the upper dominator grade gold cloud desolate beast that appeared over 100 years ago was still there. Not only that, when Knight Sorrow was sucked into this space, the gold cloud desolate beast immediately launched a fierce attack. A palm fiercely slammed toward him. The palm released a golden light that lit up the entire space. What is on the coffin walls? Chapter 2899. On the walls of the coffin, there were many stone carvings. Every carving was a terrifying creature. Although Knight Sorrow had only glanced at them with his sea serpent's eye, he was alarmed. He could feel that the 9 terrifying creatures carved on the stone walls were all living creatures, and their auras were even stronger than the Supreme Holy Spirits. They had already surpassed the Absolute Saint realm. Between the 9 terrifying creatures was a small stone coffin. It looked exactly the same as the one Knight Sorrow was in. When he was fighting with the golden cloud desolate beast, the coffin's lid was still closed. Not long after, the coffin's lid opened on its own. As it opened, the Space Knight Sorrow was and saw the light of day again. It seems like the stone coffin contains a great terror. When the coffin's lid opened, the aura inside was extremely evil and powerful. Yi Shang was certain that the person inside was stronger than any of the supreme beings of the God realm he had ever seen. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow removed the formation he had set up in the coffin and rushed out of the coffin. In his opinion, even if he rushed out of the coffin, he would encounter many desolate beasts and groups of desolate beasts. That was better than staying in the coffin. Staying in the coffin gave him a feeling that he could die at any time. Even breathing was difficult. The instant he stepped into the ancient coffin, a sinister laughter rang out in his ears. Oh no, there seems to be something extra on my body, but I can't feel it. After rushing out of the coffin, Night Sorrow didn't encounter the group of desolate beasts immediately. His position was completely covered by the mist. The group of desolate beasts was biding their time. Night Sorrow, who appeared near the many tombs, felt lucky. He also felt that there was something extra on his body. It made him feel very uncomfortable, but he couldn't feel it. After the golden cloud desolate beast appeared, it rushed straight down the mountain. It was different from how it usually did when it came to opportunities. Usually, the ancient coffin's descending opportunities didn't appear. When they saw the upper dominator rank golden cloud desolate beast appear, the golden cloud desolate beasts on the mountain, and at the foot of the mountain immediately went crazy. They originally thought that there wouldn't be any fortuitous encounters this time. However, he didn't expect that he would encounter his usual final opportunity and immediately engage in a fierce battle with it. Although I hope to see what will appear after the upper dominator rank gold cloud desolate beast is killed, it's better to leave from the other side of the mountain. Night Sorrow, who had used the sea serpent's eye to see through the mist and the fierce battle, immediately left from the other side of the mountain. As most of the desolate beasts were in battle, Night Sorrow dodged a few spatial rifts and successfully left disorderly Burial Peak. Going down the mountain from the other side and leaving the mass Burial Peak, they were still in the forbidden area. Although all the desolate beasts had ascended the mountain, there were still terrifying spatial rifts. While avoiding the large-scale spatial rifts, Night Sorrow suddenly arrived at the nest of a desolate beast. It seems to be the nest of the golden demonic rock. Is this the egg of the golden demonic rock? The huge nest was obviously from a bird species. Under normal circumstances, Night Sorrow would not be interested in it. This was because everyone had their own spatial grotto heavens and could store all kinds of treasures. However, using his god's soul power to investigate the nest in front of him, Night Sorrow discovered 3 feathers of the golden demonic rock, as well as 3 eggs. The golden demonic rock seems to be the strongest among these gold desolate beasts. If its 3 eggs successfully hatch, I should be able to obtain a baby demonic rock, right? It should be raised from birth and can be cultivated into a flying mount or a battle pet beast. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow directly stored the nest of the golden demonic rock. Who dares to touch my child? Night Sorrow had just stored the nest of the golden demonic rock when the roar of the golden demonic rock came from disorderly Burial Peak. The golden demonic rock, which was originally fighting the upper dominator rank gold cloud desolate beast, split into 2, leaving one figure to continue fighting while the other figure chased after Night Sorrow. Although he used his spatial grotto heavens to store the nest of the golden demonic rock, the golden demonic rock clone could still feel its aura. The golden demonic rock's speed was clearly the fastest among all the gold desolate beasts. Moreover, it was extremely familiar with the Forbidden Zone, so its speed was not affected at all. Night Sorrow, who had fumbled his way in, was still a distance away from the exit of the Forbidden Zone, when its speed was comparable to the golden demonic rocks. How dare you steal my child? Die, cultivator! I'm going to swallow you alive. After the golden demonic rock clone caught up to Night Sorrow, it roared loudly and transformed into a human form from its demonic rock form. It slashed a feather sword at Night Sorrow. This golden demonic rock has clearly advanced to upper dominator rank. After the golden demonic rock clone slashed out with its feather sword, countless golden feathers immediately shot toward Night Sorrow from the void. From the aura of this attack, Night Sorrow determined that the golden demonic rock had advanced to upper dominator rank. Normally speaking, it did not have the ability to fight against an upper dominator rank gold desolate beast. However, the current golden demonic rock was only a clone, so it was much weaker than the main body. After using the sea serpent eye to observe the feathers shooting out from the void, Night Sorrow immediately activated the Treastrimsa Heaven Battle Secret technique, and then used the mysterious dragon art to dodge. At this moment, Night Sorrow discovered that the mysterious dragon heaven roaming step was relatively less exquisite. There were many feathers that he could not dodge at all. He could only take out the strengthened golden heavenly halberd and resist. Die. You are like an ant. Even someone like you dares to plot against my son. Just as Night Sorrow was resisting the feathers in the sky, the golden demonic rock clone suddenly turned into 3 phantoms. They held a feather sword and attacked him from 3 directions. When these 3 phantoms first appeared, they were all dim and lightless. However, when they approached Night Sorrow, they suddenly released a shocking light that illuminated the gloomy forbidden zone. The intensity of the light caused Night Sorrow to lose focus for a moment. Divine Origin Trap Formation. Merit Trap Formation. In this short moment, even with the support of the Sea Serpent Eye, Night Sorrow could not see anything at all. Moreover, the light also covered his god soul. He could no longer use his god soul to sense the other party's attack. Night Sorrow made a prompt decision and set up a Divine Origin Trap Formation and a Merit Trap Formation around him to defend against the Golden Demonic Rock Clone's attack. Boom! 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 The 3 phantoms of the Golden Demonic Rock Clone attacked Night Sorrow's sealed space one after another, destroying the Divine Origin Trap Formation and the Merit Trap Formation. Night Sorrow was also sent flying. However, with the protection of the 2 formations, his injuries were not serious. This Upper Dominator rank Golden Demonic Rock's ferocity is beyond imagination. Although it's only a clone, its strength seems to be stronger than the Upper Dominator rank Golden Cloud Desolate Beast. I can't withstand its attack strength. Chapter 2900. The attack of the Golden Demonic Rock was completely different from that of an ordinary Golden Demonic Rock. It could already use some of its supreme power. Although Night Sorrow had also comprehended a trace of supreme power, it was still too weak in front of the Golden Demonic Rock. Profound Dragon Roaming Steps. Night Sorrow, who had already adjusted his state to the strongest, used the Profound Dragon Roaming Steps without hesitation and ran out of the Forbidden Zone. The clone of the Golden Demonic Rock saw that Night Sorrow was about to escape with its nest and the Demonic Rock eggs. How could it give up the chase? Moreover, the Golden Demonic Rock's speed was more outstanding than its strength. Night Sorrow was intercepted before he could run tens of thousands of miles. Do you think it's possible to escape from me? Hand over my children, and I'll give you a chance to reincarnate. The Golden Demonic Rock threatened Night Sorrow with murderous intent after intercepting him. Hearing this, Night Sorrow was a little surprised. He originally thought that the Golden Demonic Rock was a desolate beast that only knew how to kill and thirst for blood. It seems that the 3 demonic rock eggs are very important to it. They should be my chance of survival. Night Sorrow, who was at a disadvantage in terms of strength and speed, thought for a moment and felt that his only chance of survival was the 3 demonic rock eggs in his hands. If these demonic rock eggs weren't so important to the Golden Demonic Rock, he felt that he wouldn't compromise at all. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow said, "If you attack me again, your 3 demonic rock eggs will be attacked immediately. You should know very well what will happen to the 3 eggs if you attack them." At this moment, the 3 demonic rock eggs were a little restless. Although they hadn't hatched yet, Night Sorrow could already feel their evil and bloodthirsty nature. This was even more serious than when he had first obtained the demonic rock eggs. In fact, when he first saw these demonic rock eggs, he wanted to destroy them directly. However, as the Divine King of Virtue, he couldn't do anything to these young lives. Therefore, he wanted to bring them back to his territory in the divine world, and use the power of virtue to remove the evil aura from them. However, the Upper Dominator rank Golden Demonic Rock avatar in front of him was too strong. It was impossible for him to safely take it away. Hand over my son and lair, and I'll let you leave the forbidden area of Disorderly Burial Peak. When the Golden Demonic Rock realized that Night Sorrow had realized the importance of its 3 children, it immediately changed its tone. I wonder if a desolate beast's oath is useful. In any case, there's no other way. So be it. Hearing the Golden Demonic Rock's words, Night Sorrow was somewhat tempted. He poured a strand of the power of virtue into each of the 3 eggs. He hoped that after they were returned, they would gradually be influenced by the power of virtue and become less bloodthirsty. He said, "Return your 3 sons. That's fine, but your lair will belong to me." Night Sorrow looked at the Golden Demonic Rock and compromised slightly. As a father, he felt that he should return the other party's son. Hearing this, the aura of the Golden Demonic Rock, which was originally extremely violent, immediately calmed down a little. He said coldly, If you want to leave the forbidden zone, hand them over quickly. Alright. However, I'll only hand them over to you when I reach the edge of the forbidden zone. There's no room for negotiation. If you continue to attack, I'll kill all of them. After saying this, Night Sorrow rushed towards the exit of the forbidden zone. At this moment, on Disorderly Burial Peak, countless desolate beasts were fighting with the upper-level dominator rank Golden Cloud Desolate Beast that had just appeared. No one cared about Night Sorrow at all. Therefore, after he finished speaking with the Golden Demonic Rock, he used the Clam Dragon's Eye to reach the exit of the Forbidden Zone. When he reached the exit, Night Sorrow threw the 3 Golden Demonic Rock eggs in 3 different directions. It was impossible to completely trust a desolate beast like the Golden Demonic Rock. This was the only way he could think of to save himself. After Night Sorrow threw the eggs, the Golden Demonic Rock's clone indeed chased after them. This Golden Demonic Rock has killing intent. I still need to escape quickly. Night Sorrow, who knew that he didn't have an advantage in terms of speed, left the forbidden zone of Disorderly Burial Peak, and immediately fled in the direction of the God Realm. At this moment, there was a bright sun floating in the void. Night Sorrow knew that it was the Golden Crow Supreme. A warm feeling immediately rose in his heart. He set up a concealment rune on his body and rushed towards the God Realm at full speed. Sigh. This time, more than 100 years have passed since I entered the Forbidden Zone. The time for the War of Providence has passed. Thinking about it, I really feel bad. I only hope that Brother One can get a good result. On the way back, Night Sorrow thought of the War of Providence and immediately felt very guilty. What made him feel fortunate was that he had given half of the Invincible Dominator's law and essence to the other party. This had preserved a trace of hope for the God Realm. However, if the God Realm's providence was very scarce, only by getting into the top 1,000 could one truly reverse the providence. The Myriad Sword sect might not be able to do it. Not good. The Golden Demonic Rock has caught up. He can see through my concealment rune? While thinking, Night Sorrow suddenly felt the aura of the Golden Demonic Rock. Originally, he thought that the other party wouldn't be able to catch up so quickly because he had set up a concealment rune for himself. No. It's about the Golden Demonic Rock's nest and feather. If I give up these, I will definitely be able to escape successfully. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow analyzed that the Golden Demonic Rock's nest and feather were on him, which was why the other party could catch up so quickly. If he gave up some of the gains in the Forbidden Zone, he would definitely be able to return to the God Realm smoothly. However, he didn't want to do so. He continued to escape with the Golden Demonic Rock's nest and feather. At this moment, he was still a little far from the location of the God Realm. If it was a competition of speed, Night Sorrow would definitely be caught up. However, the Golden Demonic Rock was chasing without any scruples. Moreover, it was chasing in a straight line between the two of them. It didn't dodge anything at all. Night Sorrow immediately thought of a way to deal with it. Soon he led it to the sky above a primitive tribe. Seeing the appearance of such a terrifying desolate beast, the leader of the tribe immediately organized his men to attack it. Reckless fools. The Golden Demonic Rock was originally extremely bloodthirsty. At this moment, in the process of chasing Night Sorrow, it was actually in a state of rage. Being attacked and intercepted by the people of the primitive tribe, it immediately erupted with ferocity and killed 3 middle-level dominators of the tribe in one blow. However, it neglected one thing, and that was that there were more than just dominators in the primitive tribe. There were also supremes. This primitive tribe had so many dominators killed in one go, so they immediately asked the supremes to come out. Soon, the clone of the Golden Demonic Rock was destroyed. After destroying the clone of the Golden Demonic Rock, the supremes of the primitive tribe immediately took out a palm-sized stone mirror. Chapter 2901. Night Sorrow's figure was reflected on the stone mirror. His concealment runes were completely ineffective under the illumination of the stone mirror. The primitive tribe members could even see his appearance. The supremes of the primitive tribe then explained everything about Night Sorrow. Everyone, including the tribe leader, immediately gave chase. Why are there still people chasing after me? Night Sorrow, who continued to flee towards the territory of the God world, soon discovered the tribe members chasing after him. The ferocity of these tribe members was not inferior to the golden demonic rock at all. Moreover, more than 10 sovereigns had been dispatched at once. Among them, the tribe leader and deputy tribe leader were upper-level sovereigns. However, Night Sorrow used his divine sense to investigate. Night Sorrow discovered that these two upper-level sovereigns were much weaker than the golden demonic rock. They were completely different existences. Perhaps I can use some tactics to defeat them one by one. After fleeing for a while, Night Sorrow suddenly had the thought of fighting. Thus, he set up one trap formation after another in a valley. These trap formations all contained a trace of Supreme's power. It was something Night Sorrow had comprehended in the world of Supreme's essence gold. Those who kill will be killed. If you chase into the valley, then don't blame me. Night Sorrow, who was standing in the valley, did not hide at all. He sat cross-legged in the middle of the trap formation to recover his energy. Just now he had been using his strongest movement technique on the road, so his consumption was relatively large. After replenishing his vitality with pills, he sat in place to recover some of his divine sense. At this moment, under Night Sorrow's deliberate waiting, the warriors of the primitive tribe had already approached the valley. He's actually recovering his vitality in the valley. Tribe leader, should we directly charge in and kill him? Standing at the periphery of the valley, the deputy chief of the tribe asked. No hurry. Let's observe for a while. I feel that he seems to have discovered us. Let's wait here for him. The tribe leader of the primitive tribe, Chijan, stared at the stone mirror in his hand and shook his head. In the stone mirror, he could even clearly see Night Sorrow's expression. From this, it could be seen how miraculous the mirror in his hand was. How can he be worthy of the phrase "wait here for him"? The deputy patriarch roared indifferently. As he saw it, Night Sorrow was just an intermediate divine king. Even if he had some talent, there was no way he could defeat so many sovereigns. What you say makes sense, but this patriarch doesn't want to lose another warrior of the Chi Devil tribe. If he sets up a powerful formation and we enter recklessly, I'm afraid we'll lose people. After all, the cultivators of the God realm are extremely cunning. Chijan, the leader of the Chi Devil clan, said, then continued, we've set up magic formations around the valley, so he has nowhere to run. You don't have to hide. It would be best if you could scare him out. Yes, Patriarch. After Chijan, the leader of Chi Devil clan, gave the order, Chi Devil clan people immediately began setting up the magic formation outside the valley. It took about a month for the array formation to be completely set up. However, Night Sorrow did not move at all. He was still sitting quietly in the valley. Originally, he was recovering the power of his divine soul, but as time passed, he began to cultivate. Patriarch, he's cultivating in the valley and has no intention of coming out at all. What should we do? Night Sorrow didn't show any intention of moving at all. Chi Devil clan people outside the valley couldn't wait any longer. Let's wait a little longer. Chijan, the leader of Chi Devil clan, was obviously more patient than the others. Finished talking, he started to wait with the others. However, they had waited for 3 whole months, but Night Sorrow still didn't make any move. It seemed that he was going to cultivate in the valley all the time. Chijan, the leader of Chi Devil clan, finally couldn't wait any longer. He gathered his people and said, warriors of Chi Devil clan, fight with me. East, south, west, and north, attack him from all sides. Yes. Everyone obeyed, then spread out and attacked Night Sorrow from all sides. You're finally here. You're quite patient. But since you launched the first attack, you'll lose for sure. Night Sorrow, who was still sitting in the same place, remained calm and collected. Compared to those powerful beings in the forbidden area, Chi Devil clan people couldn't bring him any psychological pressure at all. Cultivator from the divine realm, today is the day you die. My Chi Devil clan will peel off your skin and hang it outside the gate of our clan. After deciding to attack, Chi-Ho, the vice leader of Chi Devil clan, immediately yelled out. Do you have this kind of ability? Night Sorrow stood up indifferently, then looked at those Chi Devil clan people who were attacking him from all sides. Still standing there, you'll suffer in a while. Chi-Ho yelled out again, then led his people and rushed over from behind Night Sorrow. When they rushed over, Night Sorrow didn't activate the Great Formation. Therefore, when Chi-Ho and the others arrived first, the formation wasn't discovered. When the others saw that Chi-Ho and the others had already arrived in front of Night Sorrow, they instantly rushed over madly. Although I can't separate everyone one by one, I can still fight against 3 or 4 in a group. Although the Chi Devil Clan people were divided into groups of 3 or 4, Night Sorrow didn't find it difficult to deal with them. When everyone entered the range of the formation, he immediately activated the formation completely. While isolating the Chi Devil Clan people, it also weakened their strength in an instant. Basically, under the influence of the supreme law, the Chi Devil Clan's dominator would be reduced by a small realm. An upper dominator could only unleash the fighting strength of an intermediate dominator. When Night Sorrow sparred with Myriad Sword Sect, he was only a lower divine king. At that time, he already had the strength to fight against an average intermediate dominator. Now he wasn't only an intermediate divine king, but he had also comprehended a trace of the supreme law in the Supreme Essence Gold world. His golden heavenly halberd had also merged with a trace of the supreme law. Therefore his strength had greatly increased. Although he wasn't a match for an upper dominator gold desolate beast, dealing with these Chi Devil Clan people wasn't a problem at all. Night Sorrow, who attacked from within the formation, didn't encounter any difficulties at all. He easily killed all the Chi Devil Clan warriors. Moreover, he obtained all the spatial artifacts on them. However, these spatial artifacts weren't the main point. After killing the Chi Devil Clan warriors, Night Sorrow not only obtained a large amount of virtue energy, but it also directly advanced to the upper Divine King's level. Moreover, he also obtained a faint trace of the origin as a reward. Night Sorrow wasn't very excited about the fact that his virtue energy had advanced to the upper Divine King level. However, obtaining the origin reward made him instantly excited. He thought to himself, this should be because Brother One obtained a good ranking for my Divine Realm territory in the War of Providence. Therefore, the Divine Realm territory's origin would bestow a reward. This is something worth rejoicing over. Chapter 2902. When he was still 10,000 miles away from Peace City, Night Sorrow saw the figure of the Golden Crow in the void. He shouted respectfully, Lord Supreme, you've worked hard. The first time he went hunting in the Eternal Supreme Realm, he had been missing for more than 100 years. Night Sorrow felt rather emotional. The Golden Crow had been guarding here all this time, which made him feel rather respectful. Moreover, when he saw the other party, he felt very at ease. Night Sorrow, you're finally back. Everyone was worried that you had fallen in the forbidden area of the Mass Burial Peak. This time, you have to leave a soul lamp in the City Lord's mansion. Do you understand? The Golden Crow, who had long since Night Sorrow's arrival, spoke with slight excitement after Night Sorrow spoke. The Golden Crow was very optimistic about Night Sorrow as a junior. However, he did not expect that he would enter the forbidden area on his first hunting trip. So he missed the battle decades ago. Yes. Lord Supreme, it's Night Sorrow's fault. I shouldn't have advanced rashly and lost the opportunity to participate in the battle for Providence. After the Golden Crow spoke, Night Sorrow said rather shamefully. Night Sorrow felt very guilty that he had missed the battle for Providence after obtaining the general laws and essence of the invincible dominator. Haha. It's okay, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss the battle for Providence. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the Golden Crow opened his eyes with a smile and said, with the valiant performance of the Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian, my territory in the Heavenly Realm has entered the second round of the battle for Providence. 20 years later, you will participate in the second round with them, and strive to let my territory in the Heavenly Realm enter the final round. The battle for Providence is divided into the first round, the second round, and the final round? And it lasts for such a long time? Hearing the Golden Crow's words, Night Sorrow immediately asked in confusion. He had thought that since he had returned 100 years later, the battle for Providence would have ended long ago. The battle for Providence involves the battle for Providence of tens of thousands of territories. How can it end so easily? The Golden Crow opened his eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. He continued to smile and said, The first round is the last 4,000 territories in the previous battle for the chance to advance to the second round. Under the leadership of the Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian, my territory successfully entered the top 600 with only one dominator falling. Such a result has not been seen for many years. In addition, a battle involving 4,000 territories took 100 years, which is already considered fast. Brother Wan and Sect Master Xiao really did not disappoint. Yishang blushed with shame. Then what about the second round and the final round? While Night Sorrow was sighed, he was grateful for the other two people's outstanding. At the same time, Night Sorrow and Night Dominator from the Heavenly Realm. A total of 3,200 territories have made it to the finals of the competition of Providence. The top 2,000 of the Upper Realm are exempt from the first and second round of the battle. Therefore, in the second round of the battle, there will be 200 places to advance each year. If my territory wants to reverse the situation, it must enter the final round and advance to the top 1,000. Only then can the providence of my territory be completely stabilized. Its origin will also gradually recover. After the Golden Crow patiently explained to Night Sorrow, he said, "Hurry back to the Heavenly Realm City. There are many people there who are worried about you. Then I won't disturb you any longer." Night Sorrow will take his leave. Night Sorrow knew that Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei would be very worried about him entering the Forbidden Zone and disappearing for more than 100 years. After bidding farewell to the Golden Crow, he flew back to the Heavenly Realm City. He was in such a hurry that he did not even have time to check the spatial device he obtained from the Demon Chi tribe's warriors. After returning to the Heavenly Realm City, Night Sorrow did not immediately rush to the City Lord's mansion or contact the Myriad Sword Sect. Instead, he went directly to the Genius Base, wanting to see Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei as soon as possible. However, what made Night Sorrow smile was that while he was hunting in the Forbidden Zone, Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei were both in seclusion, trying to break through to the Middle Divine King's realm. They did not know about him at all. "I'm worrying too much. Let's go back to the City Lord's mansion first." Jing Yun and Wu Lingfei were doing well, so Night Sorrow did not have to worry about family matters at all, and went straight to the City Lord's mansion. Coincidentally, in the City Lord's mansion, many Supremes were celebrating for the Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian. Most of the paragons had already finished drinking. After all, the fact that they were able to enter the second round made them very happy. After all, in the last battle for destiny, the God World had ranked in the top 9,000, which meant that they were at the very bottom. As for the other sovereigns, they were almost drunk. Brother Yi is back. Night Sorrow is back. He didn't die in the Forbidden Zone. The first person to notice Night Sorrow's return was Morong Guides, who had not drunk much. After returning from the last hunt with Cao Ling, Morong Guides had been worried about Night Sorrow. Moreover, during the celebration, everyone mentioned Night Sorrow and felt sorry for him. This made Morong Guides feel even more uncomfortable, so he did not drink much. The moment he saw Night Sorrow, Morong Guides immediately shouted, "What? Night Sorrow is back?" With Morong Jinlu's shout, the people who were originally drinking and enjoying themselves all turned their attention over. "Night Sorrow, you're back. And you have the aura of the Upper Divine King. Good. Very good." Seeing Night Sorrow's successful return, Zhu Feng's figure flashed and appeared in front of him. The other sovereigns also looked over. Before they could say anything, Xiao Tianxian came to Night Sorrow's side and said emotionally, "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Next, you'll stand side by side with us. Sect Master, you and Brother One have worked hard." Night Sorrow was a little sad. After thinking for a while, he finally said two words. "Brother Yi, we also took a risk to advance this time. We still need you to turn the tide in the second round. Although the top sovereigns in our territory are not weak, we're at a disadvantage in terms of numbers." The Myriad Sword Sect was also very happy to see Night Sorrow. After absorbing the laws and essence of ordinary unrivaled sovereigns, he had broken through to the upper sovereign level. Just based on his individual combat strength, he would definitely be ranked around the top 500 in the Eternal Supreme World. He was still very strong. As for Xiao Tianxian, although his talent was not bad, the resources he had obtained were average. He would probably be ranked around the top 4,000. However, there were only about 10 sovereigns of the same age in the divine realm. There was a huge difference in numbers compared to other territories. It was very difficult to fight. I Knight Sorrow swear. I will break through to the upper divine king as soon as possible, and bring the divine realm into the finals with everyone. Chapter 2903. Knight Sorrow felt very guilty about his absence in the first round of the Battle of Providence, so he made a vow directly. After Knight Sorrow spoke, Sovereign White Tiger said with a serious expression, "It's our incompetence. We don't have the ability to obtain a ranking in the supreme level Battle of Providence, so we've brought you great pressure. However, this Battle of Providence involves the life and death of the realm of the gods. I hope you can shoulder this responsibility. We will definitely not disappoint you." After Sovereign White Tiger finished speaking, several Dominator cultivators of the right age, including Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian, shouted with confidence. Although the goal was not easy to achieve, they were willing to shoulder this responsibility. At this time, Sovereign Black Tortoise, who rarely spoke, said, "You have to remember that behind you is the entire realm of the gods, and thousands of family members. But other than that, you have to remember that you are yourself. In a situation where there is no way to improve further, you can choose to give up and save your own life. With you around, the realm of the gods has a future." The older generation had defended the realm of the gods for so many years, but now they gradually felt powerless. Because their potential had been fully excavated, it was not realistic to want to continue improving. If not for this, the city lord of the realm of the gods would not have gone missing while looking for opportunities. Now that the realm of the gods had lost the support of top fighting forces, the nearby territories were becoming more and more presumptuous. These older supreme beings were actually under a lot of pressure. They were not afraid of dying in battle, but they were afraid that one day, the realm of the gods would be destroyed, leading to the destruction of the realm of the gods. Sovereign Black Tortoise, don't worry. We will do our best to improve our strength and then obtain a good ranking in the Battle of Providence. Knight Sorrow could hear the helplessness in Sovereign Black Tortoise's words. He looked at everyone present and comforted them. Although these supreme beings in front of him were very strong, compared to the supreme beings of the other territories, they were not strong at all. There were some things that they were powerless to do. "We all believe in you, Knight Sorrow. You are the child of destiny that we have deduced. The realm of the gods will rise again one day. Once. Our territory in the god world is strong." The supreme being of the Horn clan drank a cup of wine, and called Knight Sorrow and the others in front of him. He said, "Our territory in the god realm is not ranked at all. But we were once glorious. Follow me." The Horn clan's supreme being. Don't do that." Supreme Ancestral Dragon hurriedly stopped him when he saw the Horn clan's supreme being's reaction. He knew exactly what the other party wanted to do. It doesn't matter. I was about to die anyway. Let's make one last contribution to the god realm. The Horn clan's supreme being stroked Cao Linger's hair. Then he said excitedly, "Let this old man bring you all to witness the glory of the god realm in the past. Burning divine blood, memory of eternity." Before anyone could stop him, the Horned race's supreme being roared, and his body began to burn. After the Horn clan's prime being's body was set ablaze, the yuan qi of the world immediately changed. Something that had happened in the ancient era suddenly appeared in the sky. In the ancient era, the god realm was incomparably glorious. It was ranked in the top 20 of the entire eternal supreme world. Especially under the leadership of Supreme Longevity, it rushed to the 12th place. And according to the momentum, it was very likely that the god realm would rush into the top 10. Because Supreme Longevity was already showing signs of breaking through the supreme realm and creating a new realm. However, dozens of top supremes who did not want to see Supreme Longevity become the number one person in the eternal supreme world attacked Supreme Longevity together in the supreme space. They were surrounded by dozens of top supremes. Although Supreme Longevity was amazing, how could he be a match for so many supremes? He was killed on the spot, and even his divine soul was crushed. After the God Realm's pillar fell, the top 30 territories all began to attack the God Realm. They continuously attacked the Supremes of the God Realm, causing most of them to fall in the Supreme space. In just 10,000 years, the God Realm's ranking fell from 12th place to over 8,000. From then on, they could not recover. It was only when the God Realm's ranking fell to over 9,000 that the territories completely stopped. If not for the fact that the God Realm's territory had received a lot of providence back then, it would have been out of providence long ago. Bastards. All of these territories deserve to die. I didn't expect them to be so shameless. After watching the scene of the Horned Supremes burning their life force to summon, Master Myriad Sword was the first to roar. If supreme longevity of the God Realm's territory had not been besieged back then, he would have very likely become the first genius in the Eternal Supreme World to break through to the Supreme Realm. In that case, he would definitely be invincible in the Eternal Supreme World, and the God Realm's territory would probably become the #1 territory. Xiao Tianxuan's eyes were a little red. He choked out, "We will protect the God Realm and let it bloom in the Eternal Supreme World again, no matter what difficulties and setbacks we encounter." Then everyone understood. Although Xiao Tianxuan's ancestor was not the supreme longevity, he was the third strongest in the God Realm at that time. He was also besieged and killed by the supremes of the other territories. Seeing his ancestor being besieged and killed with his own eyes, Xiao Tianxuan's anger could be imagined. Although we don't have much ability, we are still willing to shed our blood for the God Realm. The scene just now also made Morong Ziliu emotional. Knight Sorrow did not say much, but he was also moved. After watching the scene of the Horned Supremes sacrificing their lives to summon, he felt sorrow and a strong sense of unwillingness. Even separated by thousands of years, he could feel the sorrow of the Supreme Longevity's death from the scene. At that instant, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix glanced at the crowd and said, "Fellow Nine Heavens Supremes, I believe all of you are aware that Knight Sorrow, the 10,000 Sword Sect, Xiao Tianxian, and the others are our only hope. This time, the God Realm needs them to fight with their backs to the wall. Now that the territory does not have many resources left, I hope everyone can contribute as much as possible." Yes. Although this request is a little excessive, we hope that everyone present can contribute to this battle for karmic luck. I will set an example for everyone. After the Ancestor Phoenix Sovereign finished speaking, the White Tiger Sovereign stood up from his seat. From the space, he took out a sparkling and translucent medicinal pill and handed it to Yishang, saying, "Yishang, this seat sees that you're between middle-level Divine King and high-level Divine King. I hope that you can break through to high-level Divine King as soon as possible. This pill is called the Immortal Essence Pill. I'll give it to you. It is used by sovereigns to break through small realms. It can help lower sovereigns break through to middle sovereigns, and middle sovereigns to upper sovereigns." Chapter 2904. Originally, the White Tiger Sovereign had searched for this pill for his nephew, Myriad Sword Sect. But now that Myriad Sword Sect had broken through to the upper sovereign level, he gave the pill to Knight Sorrow. Although you are only a middle Divine King, your true strength is not inferior to a sovereign, so you can take it directly. I only hope that you can break through to the sovereign level as soon as possible. With your Divine King realm, no matter how stunning you are, you can't compare to those young people in the top territories for the time being. In fact, if it weren't for the rules, you can find sovereigns younger than 3 eras in some of the top territories. What? Sovereigns who have cultivated for less than 3 eras? How is that possible? Hearing the White Tiger Sovereign's words, even Knight Sorrow was shocked. Cultivating to the sovereign level in less than 3 eras, this simply refreshed his understanding. Even Knight Sorrow was shocked to this extent, so one could imagine how shocked the other sovereigns were. Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian were already unable to close their mouths. At this time, Knight Sorrow continued, "It's a good thing that they are strong. At the very least, it proves that if talent and resources are enough, it won't take too long to break through to the sovereign level. Knight Sorrow will set them as his goal and work hard to catch up. There won't be more than 10 eternal sovereigns. You don't have to feel shocked. The resources they can obtain are unimaginable for our divine world territories. Apart from Night Sorrow, the other sovereigns who were younger than 3 epochs seem to have suffered a huge blow. Ancestor Phoenix immediately comforted them. The 10 strongest experts of the younger generation came from the top 10 territories. Each of them was fully trained by the top 10 territories and enjoyed endless resources. Don't worry, Lord Sovereign. They are very far away from us, so we won't think about it for the time being. We will do our best to bring the best ranking for everyone in the future battle for Providence. This way, we won't let down the Horned Sovereign who left. After Ancestor Phoenix comforted him, Night Sorrow said this and looked at the Horned Sovereign. A man didn't cry easily because he hadn't been hurt. The Horned Sovereign's sacrifice made him cry uncontrollably. We will also fight for the Horn Clan, Master Wan Jian said firmly. Everything that happened just now was deeply imprinted in his mind, causing a strong fighting spirit to rise around him. I can feel your determination. Where is the determination of the Supreme Martial Artists? After Supreme Ancestor Phoenix said this, he took out the same Immortal Essence pill that Supreme White Tiger had from his spatial artifact and handed it to Xiao Tianxian. This pill is exactly the same as the one that Night Sorrow had. You can split it into 4 portions and consume 1 portion every 5 years. Strive to improve your cultivation in the ruler realm. Thank you, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix. Xiao Tianxian knew that this wasn't the time for pleasantries, so he immediately took the elixir from Supreme Ancestor Phoenix. The other autarchs also knew that the God world was in dire straits right now, so they began to hand over all sorts of resources. Every single one of them said that for the next 20 years, they wouldn't go to the Paragon Dimension. Instead, they would stay in the city magistrate's mansion and watch the 10 or so young sovereigns cultivate. 20 years was an extremely short period of time for the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World. They had to make the final push. Otherwise, it would be difficult to achieve the results they wanted. As for the 9 geniuses who were focused on nurturing, each of them received an incomparably generous amount of resources. Although the God world didn't have many resources, they were sincerely trying their best. Supreme Martial Artists, Night Sorrow would like to ask a question. Is there a Supreme Martial Artist in the God world who can personally refine a Supreme Artifact? Since he was prepared to do his best to improve his strength, Night Sorrow turned his attention to the Supreme Martial Artist materials in the Supreme Refined Gold world. You have Supreme Martial Artist materials on you? Paragon Heavenly Treasure asked when he heard Yi Shang. I have some, but I don't know if it's enough to refine a complete Supreme Artifact. If the God world has a blacksmith of such caliber, Night Sorrow is willing to provide the materials to try. Night Sorrow looked at Autarch Heavenly Treasure and said. In fact, he knew that there weren't many blacksmithing geniuses in the God world. If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't only be a spatial artifact with 3 times acceleration. No one in the God world can refine a pure Supreme Artifact other than the City Lord. However, I can refine a half-Supreme Artifact that's between a Sovereign Artifact and a Supreme Artifact. If you want to use it in the battle for Providence, it's completely enough. Autarch Heavenly Treasure looked at Night Sorrow and said. Hearing this, Night Sorrow looked at Ancestor Phoenix and saw him giving him a look of affirmation. He immediately took out a few pieces of Supreme Martial Artist materials and the golden heavenly halberd that he had refined from his spatial artifact. Oh, the divine artifact in your hand was refined by yourself? It looks like it was refined from a golden wild beast and contains a trace of Supreme Martial Artist laws. Amazing! It's amazing that the Divine King can refine it to such an extent at his cultivation level. In the future, Yi Shang, you'll definitely have some accomplishments in the field of artifact refinement. Autarch Heavenly Treasure took the Samsara Heavenly Halberd and materials from Night Sorrow and praised from the bottom of his heart. You flatter me, Autarch Heavenly Treasure. However, Night Sorrow won't give up on the path of blacksmithing. Night Sorrow said politely. Misery continued. Then I'll have to ask Autarch Heavenly Treasure to refine a suitable divine artifact for Night Sorrow. It's just refining a half-step Supreme Artifact. It's not difficult for me. I can refine it on the spot. Autarch Heavenly Treasure smiled at Night Sorrow. and started to refine the half-step supreme artifact in front of everyone. After being refined by Autarch Heavenly Treasure, the golden heavenly halberd was directly upgraded to a half-step supreme artifact, and the power of the sovereign increased by more than 10 times. Autarch Heavenly Treasure's work is indeed extraordinary. After being refined by Autarch Heavenly Treasure, the golden heavenly halberd became even sharper. Knight Sorrow held it in his hand and performed a few spear techniques in front of everyone, which immediately made many people's eyes light up. Now that Knight Sorrow's divine artifact had been upgraded, his combat strength had increased a lot. Some of the Supremes present revealed gratified smiles. As for the Myriad Sword Sect, Xiao Tianxian and the other sovereigns, they were a little envious, but they didn't say anything. At this time, Knight Sorrow continued. If Autarch Heavenly Treasure still has energy left, Knight Sorrow hopes that you can refine a half-step supreme artifact for the other sovereigns who are participating in the contest. If there are enough materials, I can naturally do it. However, it's not easy to find supreme artifact materials. When Autarch Heavenly Treasure heard Knight Sorrow's words, he immediately looked troubled. It was true that he could refine a half-step supreme artifact, but he had already used up all his supreme artifact materials, and didn't have any left. What Knight Sorrow means is that I'll be responsible for all the required materials. Chapter 2905. What? So many supreme-grade materials. And they are of such high quality. They can be used to refine a real supreme-grade weapon. Seeing Knight Sorrow take out so much supreme essence gold, Master Wan Jian and Xiao Tianxuan's breathing quickened. Even some of the Supremes could not stay calm. Most of the people present had never seen so many supreme-grade materials before. Haha. Knight Sorrow is indeed a man of great luck. Seeing Knight Sorrow take out so many supreme-grade materials at once, Supreme Ancestor Phoenix burst into laughter. However, at this time he looked at Knight Sorrow and said, Supreme Essence Gold is the common currency of the Supremes in the Eternal Supreme World. Are you really going to take it all out? Are you going to refine supreme-grade weapons for the contestants? Knight Sorrow is willing to do so. After Supreme Ancestor Phoenix finished speaking, Knight Sorrow nodded without hesitation. Then he added, for now the most important thing is to get through the crisis of the realm of the gods. If we run out of materials, we can find more, but if the realm of the gods is gone, we and the entire realm of the gods behind us will suffer. Therefore, Supreme Heavenly Treasure, please refine supreme-grade weapons for everyone. Knight Sorrow, I am convinced that you can take out so much supreme essence gold so generously. From now on, don't call me supreme grade anymore. Just call me Brother Heavenly Treasure. Sovereign Heavenly Treasure said solemnly as he took the supreme-grade materials from Yi Shang. Knight Sorrow could take out so much supreme essence gold. Not everyone had the courage to do so. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow smiled and said, Brother Heavenly Treasure, I'll have to trouble you to do it for everyone. Haha. No trouble, no trouble. Refining so many half-step supreme-grade weapons will greatly improve my refining skills. Maybe I can find a way to refine supreme-grade weapons. Supreme Heavenly Treasure said with a laugh. Then he looked at the other geniuses and said, What kind of weapons are you good at? Tell me. After you get the weapons, you have to fight for the realm of the gods. Do you understand? Many autarchs only have sovereign artifacts. The Myriad Sword Sect thanks Brother Yi. At this moment, the Myriad Sword Sect was the first to bow to Knight Sorrow. Last time, he had been able to obtain half of the Invincible Sovereign's laws and essence because of Knight Sorrow's gift. Now that he had a half-step supreme artifact, his strength would soar once more. The gratitude he felt towards Knight Sorrow was indescribable. Haha. I didn't misjudge you. Xiao Tianxian also cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. After all, they were old friends, and he had even sent off Knight Sorrow and Tianyan Bao, so he wasn't as courteous as the Myriad Sword Sect. As for Morong Guidance and the others, their gratitude towards Knight Sorrow was even stronger. He Yuan Fingxue and the others all bowed towards Knight Sorrow. To them, the value of a half-step supreme artifact was immeasurable. If they relied on themselves, they might never be able to obtain it. Esteemed autarchs, Night Sorrow still has one more thing to say. While Supreme Heavenly Treasure was refining divine artifacts for the many geniuses of the God world, Night Sorrow looked at the autarchs present and asked, I wonder, after the fall of the Supreme Longevity, were there any existences surpassing the autarchs born in the eternal Supreme World? He was thinking of the ancient stone coffin in the forbidden area of Disorderly Burial Peak. According to the autarch's original spirit, there might be existences surpassing the autarch in that ancient coffin. Yes, of course. Back then, after the major figures of the top territories killed the Supreme Longevity, they divided up his laws and essence. Now the strongest of the top 10 territories have already surpassed the autarch realm. The 10 of them all obtain the Supreme Longevity's laws and essence. Supreme Phoenix said angrily, Night Sorrow, if you grow and have enough strength, you must destroy all the top 10 territories to avenge the Supreme Longevity. Do you understand? Night Sorrow understands. Supreme Phoenix's words were filled with killing intent, but Night Sorrow didn't object. If not for the fact that the strongest of those territories plotted against the Supreme Longevity and targeted the God world, the God world wouldn't be in such a difficult situation now. Then how much do the autarchs know about the forbidden area? Night Sorrow didn't directly mention the ancient stone coffin. He was afraid that if he did, the autarchs of the God world would panic. The forbidden area is simply too mysterious to us. But the sages of the past have instructed us not to wander around the forbidden area, unless it's absolutely necessary. Seeing that the other autarchs didn't answer Night Sorrow's question, Supreme Ancestral Dragon said, All right. Yi Shang was clear on this matter. If there's nothing else Night Sorrow is going to cultivate, I'll strive to become an upper divine king within 20 years. Night Sorrow first bid farewell to the autarchs, then to Xiao Tianxian, Myriad Sword Sect, and the others. Although he wanted to catch up with Xiao Tianxian, he knew that time was too tight. Thus, he directly returned to his own residence. After setting up a formation, he began to inspect the spatial artifacts he obtained from the Demon Qi tribe. The other items in the spatial artifacts of the Demon Qi tribe were ordinary, but the stone mirror in Patriarch Qi Zhan's spatial artifact was very special. When he touched it, he had an extremely special feeling. Why do I feel that the energy contained in this stone mirror is even stronger than the half-step supreme artifact in my hand? This is a completely unexpected gain. Compared to the golden heavenly halberd, Night Sorrow found that the stone mirror in his hand was actually stronger. What he didn't know was that this was the supreme treasure of the Demon Qi tribe. The autarchs of the Demon Qi tribe felt that a divine king wasn't a threat, so they sent Qi Zhan to chase after him with the stone mirror. It doesn't seem to be easy to make it recognize me as its master. I'd better cultivate first. I'll think about it after I become an upper-level divine king. There was no mark on the stone mirror at all, but Night Sorrow tried to make it recognize him as its master, but he found that he couldn't make it recognize him as its master. Thus, he put the stone mirror into his space paradise, then took out an immortal essence pill and swallowed it directly. He felt that with the strength of his body, he could completely withstand the powerful impact of this pill. After all, the impact it brought was only at the level of a ruler. It can really withstand it. When the elixir pill took effect, Yi Shang immediately felt as if his entire body was on fire. His cultivation base and the strength of his body also became stronger. However, the effect of the immortal essence pill was far more durable than Night Sorrow knew. It actually lasted for a full 15 years before Night Sorrow successfully absorbed it. And Night Sorrow also successfully advanced to the upper-level Divine King realm with the help of the power of virtue and the immortal essence pill. After passing the Divine King tribulation, Night Sorrow directly came out of seclusion. This time he didn't want to miss it. Chapter 2906. When Night Sorrow emerged from seclusion, he found that the City Lord's manor was bustling with activity, or rather chaos. Something seemed to have happened. Night Sorrow immediately sent a message to Ancestor Phoenix to ask what was going on. After asking, he learned that the Celestial Immortals were looking for Ji Yun, who had poached in the Divine Realm. As for the people of the God Realm, aside from Night Sorrow and Murong Guide, No one else knew about Ji Yun. Naturally, they didn't know anything. Naturally, the celestial immortals were enraged. If it weren't for the fact that the divine realm still had a sliver of destiny remaining, they would have attacked already. Supremes, where are you? I'll go take a look. I know what's going on with Ji Yun. Night Sorrow asked after finding out what was going on. Clearly, the celestial immortals were baring their fangs and brandishing their claws when they came to rescue Ji Yun. After all, Ji Yun's poaching was a despicable act in the Eternal Supreme's world, and a sign of disrespect to the divine realm. We're in the guest hall. Come over. However, the celestial immortals are very strong. Unless absolutely necessary, just watch. Don't interrupt. Ancestor Phoenix's tone was somewhat helpless. The divine realm was indeed weak at the moment. In terms of strength, it couldn't be compared to the celestial immortals. I understand. Yi Shang replied with a sigh of relief. However, he didn't say anything else. Instead, he hurried to the guest hall. They were very close. In a moment, Yi Chang appeared in the guest hall. The celestial immortals were brazenly threatening the celestial immortals. One of the dominators said with a dark expression, "If you don't hand over my brother, I, Ji Feng, will kill all the cultivators in your trash territory in the second round of the Battle of Providence. Leave none alive. Don't think you can avoid the celestial immortals. Our methods are beyond your imagination." Impudent. How dare a mere sovereign like you brag in front of so many sovereigns? The myriad sword sect, Shao Tianxian, and other genius sovereigns of the divine realm were all in seclusion, trying to increase their strength as much as possible. Some of the sovereigns present were young, and their strength was average. No one was a match for Ji Feng, and the sovereigns were wary of the strength of the heavenly immortal domain, so they were very polite. When Night Sorrow rushed over and saw Ji Feng spouting nonsense, he immediately reprimanded him. To him, the other party's behavior of slapping the face of the higher-ups was completely unacceptable. What are you? Just a high-level divine king, and also dares to shout and wrangle at me, Ji Feng. Ji Feng had a domineering look on his face. His father was standing behind him, and his strength was stronger than any of the supremes present in the divine world. Furthermore, he was one of the top 1,000 sovereigns in the eternal paragon world. I don't care if you are Ji Feng or Ji Yun, you will pay the price for offending the divine world. Don't think that there's no one in the God world who can stop you. Today will be the last time you act so presumptuously here. If there's a next time, you'll end up like Ji Yun, completely annihilated. Facing the unruly Ji Feng, Night Sorrow coldly replied, "What? Did you kill my brother? Bastard, you deserve to die." Hearing Night Sorrow personally mention Ji Yun's matter, Ji Feng immediately flew into a rage and prepared to attack. Ji Feng's father's expression also changed greatly. They knew that Ji Yun had come to the divine world to poach. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come directly to the divine world to ask for him. Now that they heard that Ji Yun's soul had been annihilated, the father and son were completely enraged. What? You're unable to restrain your anger? I want to ask, if someone from the divine world poaches in your divine immortal territory, what will happen to them? Night Sorrow coldly questioned, then berated. Let me tell you, the divine world is not something you can discriminate against. When we were glorious, you were trash. Now that we've fallen, you're also trash. There's nothing to be arrogant about. If you have the ability, then fight here. If not, then leave immediately. Don't think that we're easy to bully. So what if you're ranked in the top 1,000? You still have to participate in the second round. Bastard, you're courting death. I'll kill you. When Ji Feng heard Yi Shang's words, it was as if he had been set ablaze. He no longer looked as light as before. He immediately drew his long sword and prepared to attack. I advise you to be careful. Although the divine world isn't strong, it's not difficult to kill you. Supreme Phoenix Ancestor immediately berated Ji Feng when she saw that Ji Feng was about to attack Night Sorrow. Although Ji Feng's father was very strong, there were only 2 or 3 supreme beings from the divine immortal territory. The difference in strength between the two sides was huge. After Night Sorrow berated them, the supreme beings of the divine world seemed to have been given a wake-up call. They instantly realized that there was no need for them to keep showing weakness. In the eternal supreme world, the only thing that could earn one's respect was strength and battle. Showing weakness would only make one be looked down upon even more. In an instant, the aura of the supreme beings was completely different. Good. Good. Very good. Let's see how you're going to resist the attack of the divine immortal territory after this battle. Father Ji looked at Supreme Phoenix with a gloomy face and said, "Don't think that we don't know that the strongest person in the divine world has been missing for many years. There's no need for you to worry about the affairs of the divine world. Our divine world has weathered great storms and waves, and still hasn't been destroyed for a long time. It's not something that you can destroy just because you want to. Send the guests out." Supreme White Tiger, who hadn't spoken for a long time, also habitually kept silent. After Night Sorrow directly chose to fall out with the other party, he also stood up. In addition, the other supreme beings all released a strong fighting spirit. For a moment, the aura in the Divine World City Lord Mansion was unbearable for many sovereigns. Very good. Far, let's go. You should already know what to do in the second round of the battle for Providence. Father Ji looked at his son Ji Feng and said with a murderous look. Yes, Lord Father, your child will personally exterminate everyone in the divine realm. I won't give them a chance to struggle at death's door, Ji Feng said, then looked at Night Sorrow and said, "You, a divine king realmant, had better not participate in the second round of the battle for Providence in a few years. Otherwise, even wanting to die will be an extravagant hope. I, Night Sorrow, hate people like you who don't have courage and insist on pretending to be a wolf. If you really have the guts, then make your move now. What are you afraid of?" Night Sorrow looked at Ji Feng and said indifferently, his body releasing an endless fighting spirit. He didn't fear the other party at all. Chapter 2907. Bastard. I'm going to kill you. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ji Feng could no longer control himself, and a strong battle intent rose around him. If you want to kill me, then make your move. Do you think you can kill me with words? A superior dominator doesn't even dare to make a move against the Divine King, dilly-dallying here. How despicable, said Yi Shang with a cold smile. Ji Feng looked overbearing, as if he was unrivaled in the world. He wanted Ji Feng to understand that there was no room for him to show off in the divine world. Night Sorrow would not back down at all for someone who challenged the dignity of the divine world. Fine. Make your move then. If the supremes of the divine world have any manners, then don't interfere in our battle, Ji Feng said as he took out a long sword from his spatial artifact. This long sword was different from ordinary swords. It was not made of metal, but the bones of some kind of desolate beast. It looked very simple and did not emit any brilliance, but it gave off a very dangerous feeling. It's a good sword, bloodthirsty and cold, but you're dragging your feet. You're not worthy of it. Night Sorrow saw Ji Feng's performance and sneered. You're facing the Divine King, and you're telling the Supremes present not to make a move. Are you going to tell the divine world to withdraw their luck, so that it won't bring you any backlash? In terms of battle strength, Night Sorrow judged that if he used a half-step Supreme's artifact, he could definitely fight Ji Feng without any fear. He was trying to provoke him into making a move. He wanted to kill him in front of the divine world and boost the morale of the divine world. Right now, the divine world's morale was too weak. A mere Supremes could run amok here with their son. This was a complete disgrace. You ant. Ji Feng. Don't believe that the Supremes of your trash territory will dare to make a move against me. Ji Feng was completely enraged by Night Sorrow's words. He disregarded everything and slashed at Night Sorrow. Very good. It's good that you dare to make a move. There's no need for us to send out Supremes to kill you. Seeing Ji Feng attack, Night Sorrow immediately laughed. He kept provoking Ji Feng with his words so that he would attack. But at this time Ji Feng's father Ji Junyang directly blocked this move. He said, "A little impatience spoils great plans. Now that we're in the territory of the God realm, we'll suffer the backlash of Providence if we act rashly. It won't be too late to attack them after the second round of the Battle of Providence begins. Yinner will not die in vain." Father, Ji Feng, who was stopped, looked like an enraged ferocious beast. You still can't tell? He is deliberately provoking you to attack, so that he can defeat you with the help of Providence. If you make a move, you will fall into his trap. Seeing Ji Feng's state, Ji Junyang comforted him. Then he looked at Night Sorrow and said, "It seems like you're the only one in the entire God realm. If you want to fight with Ji Feng, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as he finished speaking, Ji Junyang left a mark on Night Sorrow and said, "This is a celestial immortal mark. If you participate in the second round of the Battle of Providence, Ji Feng will find you immediately. Lord Supreme, leave a mark on him too. This is fair." Night Sorrow knew that it was already impossible to kill Ji Feng today. Immediately, he had Supreme Ancestor Phoenix leave a mark on Ji Feng's body. Good. From today onwards, our territory of the God realm will not yield an inch of land to any territory. Supreme Ancestor Phoenix snorted and left a God realm mark on Ji Feng's body. This was something that others could not erase. After leaving the territory of the God realm, you will all become complete trash. The mark on my body will be your death warrant. Ji Feng, who was planted with a God realm mark, said disdainfully and left the territory of the God realm with Ji Junyang. Just as they walked out of the City Lord Mansion, Ji Junyang sent a voice transmission to Ji Feng and said, "Don't underestimate that divine king. His strength shouldn't be below yours. Or rather, with the help of Providence, he has the confidence to kill you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept provoking you to attack." "Father, he's just a divine king. How can he be my match?" Ji Feng asked with a face of disbelief. "It's not impossible for a divine king to kill a ruler. The territory of the God realm was once glorious. Perhaps this divine king is the reincarnation of a genius. You must be careful when fighting with him. Is that clear?" Ji Junyang said with a serious tone. As an outstanding figure among the Supremes, although he was not the number one person in the territory of the Celestial Immortals, he had always been in a high position and had a much higher outlook than Ji Feng. Sometimes it was easy for people to form a stereotype. For example, Ji Feng looked down on Night Sorrow, who was at the level of the Divine King. He did not think that Night Sorrow could fight with him at all. But Ji Junyang was not like that. "Yes, father. But no matter what, I will kill all of them and avenge my younger brother." At the mention of Ji Yun, Ji Feng's face was full of anger. The two of them grew up together and had a very good relationship. "Of course we will kill them. But the appearance of this divine king ant is a wake-up call for us. Father will bring you to other territories. We are not the only ones who want to destroy the territory of the God realm. That divine king ant is a victim of his own cleverness." Ji Junyang turned around and glanced at the City Lord's mansion in the City of the Gods as he said with a fake smile. Night Sorrow's performance had alerted him. He was prepared to join forces with the other territories and attack the territory of the God realm together. Good. A lion will use its full strength even when hunting a rabbit. We will deal a fatal blow to the territory of the God realm. As long as we kill all of them in the second round of the War for Providence, the territory of the God realm will definitely be completely cut off. At that time, Ji Feng did not finish his words, but Ji Junyang clearly understood and nodded at him. At the same time, in the City Lord's mansion, many Supremes began to ask about Night Sorrow's cultivation. Night Sorrow's performance just now made them blush with shame. Everyone, including Supreme's Ancestral Phoenix, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise, began to reflect. The territory of the God realm was too weak, because of a lack of confidence. It was indeed not a good thing. Night Sorrow has successfully broken through to the upper Divine King realm, but he is still a distance away from the Dominator realm. As for now, he lacks a top-notch movement technique. Also, it would be better if he could get some guidance on spear techniques. Night Sorrow explained his situation in detail. The movement technique he used was taught by Xiao Tianxian. His strength had already surpassed Xiao Tianxuan's, but he still used the dragon swimming steps, which was obviously holding him back. Hearing this, Supreme's ancestral dragon immediately said, "Leave the movement technique to me." Silver Spear Supreme's Yang Tiancheng, who was not far from him, stood out and said, "Leave the spear to me." Chapter 2908. As Supreme Ancestral Dragon and Supreme Silver Spear spoke, the other Supremes didn't say much. Among the two Supremes, Supreme Ancestral Dragon's overall strength was very strong, but his strongest point was his movement technique, which wasn't inferior to the two Vice City Lords. As for Supreme Silver Spear, Yang Tiancheng, he was the only one among the Supremes who used a spear as a divine weapon. His understanding of the spear was incomparable to others. After that, Night Sorrow learned movement and spear techniques from the two Supremes. Although Supreme Ancestral Dragon and Supreme Silver Spear were slightly weaker than some of the Supremes in other territories, they were still lofty existences that godly kings and rulers could only look up to. They were more than enough to teach Night Sorrow. Soon Night Sorrow learned a new movement technique, the Void Dragon Movement Technique. The Void Dragon Movement Technique was much stronger than the Black Sky Roaming Dragon art that Xiao Tianxian taught him. Its absolute speed was about 5 times faster, and the improvement was quite obvious. In addition, he also learned 2 new spear techniques from Yang Tiancheng. One was the Reincarnation Spear art that was improved by Supreme Silver Spear's guidance. The other was the Yang Clan's sky-splitting art that he learned from Yang Tiancheng. Yang Clan's sky-splitting art. Although the name sounded ordinary, its power was greater than Night Sorrow's Reincarnation Spear art. It was a considerable gain. At the same time, to prevent the half-step Supremes from being exposed too early, Night Sorrow created a Dominator Realm Silver Spear for himself. At this point, Night Sorrow felt that he was fully prepared. But at this time, the other Supremes began to give their gifts. Talismans, pills, secret treasures, formation materials, and so on. They were not stingy at all. This time, to the realm of the gods, it was a battle with their backs against the wall. The Supremes had basically taken out all their wealth. Thank you for your gifts, Supremes. Night Sorrow will distribute these items to everyone. I hope that we can amaze the world with a single brilliant feat in this battle for Providence. Night Sorrow was very encouraged by the unity of the realm of the gods. Before coming to the realm of the gods and interacting with others, he was told that some sovereigns and supremes were not easy to get along with, and there were also problems with their character. But at this moment, it seemed that everyone's attention was on them, and nothing disharmonious happened. As supremes, it was impossible for them not to covet supreme materials. Just like the sovereigns in the realm of the gods, supremes. However, everyone controlled themselves and allowed Heavenly Treasure Sovereign to forge all the supreme materials Yishang had taken out into half-supreme divine artifacts. Night Sorrow, while you're learning the sky-splitting tactics, the others have already gathered in Ping'an City. Go with them to the location of the Battle of Providence. The Silver Spear Paragon, Yang Tiancheng, said after Night Sorrow thanked the various paragons. To participate in the Battle of Providence, one did not need to go to other territories. One only needed to teleport from Ping'an City to the competition venue at the specified time. Supremes. Okay. I got it. Night Sorrow responded and headed to Supremes. Night Sorrow met up with the Supremes in Supremes and Supremes. Then they went to the teleportation formation in Supremes, and waited for it to open. While waiting, Night Sorrow distributed the resources given by the Supremes to everyone. Other than Night Sorrow, Myriad Sword Sect, Xiao Tianxian, Xue Changtian, Murongzhenlu, Yuan Fengxue, and the other strengths had all increased. Other than the 5 he knew, there were 3 others: Nie Zhonglin, Yang Qing, and Jin Xian. Because there were too many sovereigns in the Eternal Supreme's world, it was not surprising at all. Therefore no one called themselves sovereigns, and they all called each other by their names. Among those present, Myriad Sword Sect and Xiao Tianxian had already reached upper sovereigns. Xue Changtian, Murongzhenlu, Yuan Fengxue, and Nie Zhonglin were all intermediate sovereigns. Yang Qing and Jin Xian were both peak lower sovereigns. With such a lineup, Night Sorrow, a half-step Supreme's artifact, and a large amount of resources, their strength was much stronger than in the first round. Everyone felt more confident. Night Sorrow did not participate in the first round, so he did not know how the War of Providence was carried out. While waiting, he asked, "Everyone, you've all participated in the last War of Providence. Can you tell me how the War of Providence is carried out?" The rules are very simple. That is, all the people in the territories will be teleported to an ancient battlefield until there are 1,200 territories left. If there is still no result after 100 years, then the territories with fewer people will be eliminated. Myriad Sword Sek sighed when he heard Knight Sorrow's question. In the first round of the War of Providence, 2 sovereigns of the divine world had fallen. They did not even have time to crush their nameplates before they were killed. After helping Knight Sorrow explain, they could crush their nameplates to save themselves. Myriad Sword Sect continued. The number of people in our territories is not the least, but it's about the same. Therefore, in the second round of the War of Providence, we will be in a passive position. Only by continuously eliminating other territories will we have a chance to survive until the end. 100 years should be enough. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment, then continued. When we enter the ancient battlefield, we will try not to use our half-step Supreme's artifacts as much as possible to avoid exposing ourselves. Our ultimate goal is to rush into the top 1,000 of the War of Providence, or even obtain a higher ranking. For the second round, it's best to hide some of our strength. If we use our half-step Supreme's artifacts, then we must do our best to kill our opponents. We must not let anyone leak the information of our half-step Supreme's artifacts. Xiao Tianxian added. He was even more decisive than Knight Sorrow. We are clear that our half-step Supreme's artifacts are of great importance. If they are exposed, we might be besieged. We will not use them easily. Murong Jinlu and the others spoke one after another. Even a Supreme's might not necessarily have a half-step Supreme's artifacts. In the divine world, every sovereign had one. If they were exposed, it would definitely cause a commotion. Time's up. You all can go now. Just as everyone was talking, the golden crow outside the city suddenly spoke. Everyone be careful. We might encounter people from other territories when we land. Be prepared. Let's go. When the teleportation formation lit up, Myriad Sword Sek's battle intent was released. He took out his artifacts and reminded everyone to be careful. Then everyone, including Knight Sorrow, took out their artifacts and walked into the teleportation formation. They disappeared into the light pillars. I hope that you all can obtain supreme fortune for the divine world. It's us Supremes who are useless, unable to protect the foundation of our predecessors. After Knight Sorrow and the others disappeared into the light pillars, the golden crow sitting outside Peace City muttered. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.